cooking up some gammon today. Now we're going to be roasting this gammon, and what we're going to do is get some really nice diamond shapes.
Hello there.
Now, are you sitting comfortably? Good. Then we'll begin.
I call again for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, the hostages, and a recommitment to the two-state solution.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It's
Gets
gross.
the people going.
It's
No,
disgusting.
that's enough! Why do you...
They're the Free Wales Army, Lana.
Yeah, that's right, David. Good lad.
Leg hurts.
Yes, it will do, Dav. You've been shot.
My name is Jeff.
I am the danger. A guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.
Well, what are you waiting for?
I don't know. Something amazing, I guess.
Me too, kid.
This is a safe place. It's a place where we can feel free sharing our feelings. Think of my office as a nest in a tree of trust and understanding. We can say anything here.
Anything.
I like turtles.
Great supine protoplasmic invertebrate jellies.
Look at him. He runs like a Welshman. Doesn't he? Doesn't he run like a Welshman?
Yo, yodely yo, how the fuck are we? I wasn't gonna swear then, but I did it anyway. Oh, hello. Ooh, we've got a few of yous in already. Shabba, how you doing? Well, first things first, we're gonna have to start looking at some points, aren't we? Now, this one doesn't get points. There's no points there for this comment. I'm really sorry, Gillian, because that was at 429. Michael also came in with some pointerinos, but unfortunately, nil pointerinos for you, Michael. That was also at 429, but you did get the first place in at 430. You got 10 points for yourself there. Snooze, you lose, jeez. And then just 2 minutes after, we've got TKE, who also got points, and Jim Speak, who got 2 points. Do you know what? You were probably 30 seconds out. I'm also going to give Gillian 2 points as well. Because why not? We're generous here. We like it. So 2 points to Gillian, 2 points to Jim, 5 points to TK, and 10 points to Michael. He is absolutely stomping that leaderboard. I'm sure he's like a good 50 or 100 points clear of everyone. Yes, it does run into the hundreds now, the scoreboard. It's all a bit fun. Jimbo did get in with the last minute points. How are you all doing as well, by the way? Thank you for playing the game as well. Gillian, Michael, TKE, Jim Speak. It's great to have you in. How are you doing, Specs? Hope you're good. About to go grab a curry with the partner, so we'll miss the stream. But have a good one, gang. The old wives' tale about spicy food works. I am getting, I am not going to be like that guy that's like, oh, I'm just as anxious as the guy. I'm getting a lot of anxiety, I'm like, where is this baby, man? Like, it needs to be born already. It's cooking. It's overcooking now. Well, I hope that the curry works. And, yeah, much love and peace. Many peace to you and your Specs. I hope it's all going absolutely perfectly. Ooh. Is there anything to that? What do you think, chat? Is there anything to the idea that if you take a pregnant person who is just about to give birth but isn't quite giving birth yet, their bean sprout isn't sprouting, and yeah, a curry, does that actually help? Does spicy food actually help? But enjoy your curry and everything anyways. Hello, Flow Snake. I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you in here with the watermelons, as always. Hello, MZ. That sounded really weird. Sorry, I'm going to go back to that. Or maybe I shouldn't. I don't know, but it sounded weird. With the watermelon emojis. Free Palestine, all right? That's what we're saying. Hello, Ollie. How you doing? It's good to see you all in. Oh, so today's stream is not going to be your standard stream with the headline rundown, with the Brainy Burke alert, the audit corner and all that stuff. It's pretty much just going to be one big long audit corner. Oh, I say long, it's not going to be that long. But it's going to be an audit corner. I was unlucky enough to end up having a sort of impromptu debate, I guess you could call it. It's not really a debate. It was, Britain's most racist auditor decided that he was going to start, appearing in a chat of a channel that I get on with the owner and stuff of the channel. And, I know the people that are there and that. And it was a weed talk more than anything. It's like, from what I understand of the channel now, it's just like a weed review sort of channel thing. And, I was having a laugh with them. This dude was in the chat and then I thought, because it was quite egregious and it was quite terrible. So I thought, you know what, I'll use this as an opportunity to ask you some questions and maybe even get myself an interview with Britain's most racist auditor. However, I went onto panel and he decided to follow me. So we kind of between us hijacked somebody's panel stream and we ended up having a conversation. I say conversation, debate, shit talk, whatever you want to call it. All in the worst of possible faiths on one side, and but no, it makes for a really interesting review, I think, because it breaks down a lot of the narratives that they do. It's really good if you can break it down properly. Then this should be, or if I could do it properly, then this should be a really useful piece of content for people to understand the tropes, the lies, and all the stuff that you'll hear him say. You'll hear other auditors say it. You'll hear other tier 5 bigots say it, and things like that. It's all common stuff. So it's important that we know and understand and learn. Now, I'm going to share the screen and then we're going to crack on with the review in just a second. But before I do, I'm just going to let you know that I'm not actually going to be... oh, goodness, let me try and figure out how to do this now without accidentally... I'm going to hit this one, I think. I'll hit this one. And then I'm also going to put up an overlay just quickly over the top of it. Enjoy this one, guys. Where are they now? They're in jail. No, it was the first overlay I had from the last stream. I just need to find something so I can share this without, doxing the people that are on there because they had no. Did that work? Yeah, I think it did. I think it has. Let me just do a quick little. So if I hit that and then remove this, yeah, we're all good. We got it. So it's in the background and it's ready to be played. But there's a bunch of people that were involved in the panel that were absolutely not involved in the conversation. This wasn't a political panel. It wasn't an auditor space. It wasn't my space. It was just MySpace. It was just a sort of random channel. So I don't really want to dox them, or anything like that. Give you the channel names and show you everyone's face while they're on camera, because they, it's only it's a 5-hour stream, but it was like half an hour that I had a chat with DP for, and that's the only part that we're interested in. And for the most part, absolutely nobody else even talks. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Oh, we've also got some extra peoples in. We've got Mrs. Chubby Rain. I didn't realise there was a Mrs. Chubby Rain, but you're also officially a Smelly Lefty as well. I don't know if you bought that or if it was gifted, but thank you all the same for being here. I appreciate it. Hey, we've got Crow in as well. How you doing? The curry worked for us. See, there's 2 people in the chat, right, that are saying that the curry works for them. Rejoice, Smelly Lefties. Your friendly neighbourhood Scottish Marxist has arrived. A little bit late about that. Sorry. No, don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good. We are rejoicing anyway. It's good to see you, Katie. I hope you're well. Ryan, I think probably just crack on with it. I've been talking shit for nearly 10 minutes. So we'll just, we'll crack on with it, I reckon.
Yeah, man.
So I think he's about to say that person's name as well. So I'll just skip over that very quickly. So again, context, it was just a completely unrelated panel talking about unrelated nothingness, stuff to do with weed and stuff and medical consumption, you know what I mean? And it's a cool space to be, you know what I mean? That chat was a cool chat to have in that particular space at that time. But obviously DP had to come in and try and spoil a party for everyone. But yeah, so he was in the chat. We were both chatting back and forth. I think it was pretty much ended it with, well, I'd like to get your views. I'd like to have this sort of conversation, but in the form of an interview we'll do that, and hopefully, we'll see where that goes, because he's a really interesting character, and there is a right way of interviewing people like this. You don't bring them on and have like traditional sort of debates, kind of like how I did there. It's not really what you should be doing, because it presents them as the other side of a debate. You've got to do it in ridicule. You've got to do it sort of almost academically as well, which I'm not really great at, so I don't have them on here for that reason, just because it just spreads the bullshit. Oh shit! Oh, look at that. 5 gifted members. Thank you so much, Gillian. That's so damn kind of you. Thank you so much. Yeah, the love, the support, everything else. It's really, really kind. I really appreciate it. Let's have a look at who's received the gifted members then, shall we? So let's have a look. We've got Shell, EV3 or E3V, sorry, who got a gifted membership from Thingy. Neo. We've got Kendo, IR Care. 1, 2, 3, and I can't see the 5th. Which means that it's probably another one of these auditors who are stalking us at the moment, because they watch every stream, every single stream they are watching. There's no denying it, and they say as much. Like, we'll have people with like hundreds of thousands of followers coming into the chat to comment and do all that stuff. So whoever you are, mystery 5th person who received that. I hope you enjoy your gifted membership. You are now officially a smelly lefty, the kind of smelly that smells smelly. They'll never get it off. He's a shill for Restore. The worst is as well, he's not actually even like affiliated with Restore. This guy just actively picks up tier 1 branding, chucks it on his own sandwich board to replicate somebody else that did it to try and generate views. Like, he's not even like a proper shill. He's just a grifter. He's just grifting the whole way through. Also, hello, John, by the way. And you might want to stick around for this, because you get a bit of a shout out here. He seems to think that you guys are friends. Friends! Debate friends! He's my friend. He shook my hand, And I'm sure he wiped it after. Anyways, that was a bit personal. So anyways, let's crack on with this. So at the moment, I think I've just skipped over where DP says hello. And then I think he starts to read out a comment that I'd left in the chat.
Ask questions about your views and the wild moves you make. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a properly like formatted version, as in like not. Also, if you're noticing I'm a lot slower there than I am here, it's because I'm a lot more stoned there than I am here. Just saying. Format version, just like actually in person, so you don't do that thing where you like talk really loud and be like, no, it's not like that. I swear, I'll just talk really loud.
I do talk loud naturally. I am watching myself. But if you don't notice, I have been doing a lot more content recently, and it has been centered around trying to open up discourse in a lot of my videos. I don't know if that.
You're not opening discourse, DP. You're spreading hatred against non-white people simply because, drumroll please, they exist. When a racist person comes out and says, debate me, it's not an actual debate. They may have said the word. It's kind of like how Hitler called himself a socialist. Like, but historically, logically, we all, refer to that individual as a fascist because he is. So, you can say you're a teapot, but you're not a teapot. So when a racist is saying, like, debate me, it's not a debate. It's an attempt to legitimize their prejudice by presenting it as a different opinion. And that is exactly what DP's content is. You know what I mean? When he says he's opening up discourse, what he means is he's standing on the street and he's looking for anybody that will give him attention so that he can then try and create a warped, twisted, racist narrative. And that's it, really. That's literally just it. He calls that a debate. He just says things that are wrong, gets corrected, and tells them that they smell, I guess. That's literally all. That's all that is. That's all it is.
That's just gone over your head, but so I'd be happy to do that, yeah.
I was watching some of your content today, actually. Yeah.
Ali Dawa, the black guy was hugging me by the end. I was.
So first of all, Ali Dawa is not the black guy. Ali Dawa is a content creator. He's a human. He has thoughts. He is more than just the color of his skin. See, even when he's trying to identify people, he's trying to almost, I guess, tokenize Ali Dawa there by being like, well, look, that guy's black and he likes me. And it's like, no. I'm almost certain that if that content gets put out and, we see you chatting with Ali Dawa, that it isn't him saying, oh, no, you're not racist at all. Because you overwhelmingly, objectively, definitionally are a racist.
I was strong in my opinions like I always am. But we come to some middle ground. Ali Dawa come to some middle ground with Ali as well. Thinking I'm some big Tommy Robinson fan, which I assure you I'm not.
So the reason I haven't immediately started back with like a whole bunch of pushback is because I'm on someone else's panel. This dude's followed me on. I'd asked him in the chat if he were up for an interview, and I wasn't expecting him to follow me up onto this stream where I'm talking to, I mean, parasocial, of course, but I'm talking to a friend. You know what I mean? I'm talking to a buddy that I've got there, and you know, to a couple of them that I'm trying to chat to, and that you know, we speak to each other fairly often, semi-regularly. We're all online and stuff. Like, you know, they do great shows. Some of them like what I do. We chat and we, you know. It's fun. And then this dude, like, just, yeah, it was like, right, there's a link there. I'm going to click it. Let's get up. So I wasn't fully, like, I was, at first, I was like, oh, God, I've been here before. And this is where, like, you know, you're on a panel or something. And then, you know, all this stuff goes on. And all of a sudden it looks like you've caused it because you were there in the first place. They followed you up. So I was trying not to ruin everyone else's time. But he just kept talking. He just wouldn't stop talking.
I think Tommy's done good things in the past, but I'm not some fanboy of Tommy. I don't really watch the guy, to be honest.
Well, I did. I have seen posts of yours where you were like, "Oh my God, Tommy's sharing my stuff." Like, you know, kind of.
Well, yeah, I just said thanks for sharing my post.
I'm not a fanboy, but I just fanboy sometimes. You know, I don't agree with him, but I do. Oh shit! I've just seen this as well. Thank you so very much. This is so kind. I'm blown back every time, each and every time I get, like, you know, new members, gifted members and things. It's so kind. You've got much better things to spend your money on, people. It's a cost of living crisis. My content will always be free for you. But for those of you that do, then thank you so much. It honestly helps out a lot more than you know. Let's have a look at the people that received those gifted subs. We've got Bickerton. We've got the Nutter channel. Shout out to the Nutter channel. Also, my voice cracked then like I was about 5 years old because I got really excited about the Nutter channel. I like Nutter. He's a cool dude. We've got the Kaza channel, Badass 56. We've got Shine Your Light. They are your new gifted members. They are in the Smelly Lefty crew. Officially smelly and officially lefty. That's how it works. Someone gifts you a sub, boom, smell for life. Just how it works.
Post, Tommy, fair enough. You know what I mean? And that was also a year ago as well.
A bit of a fanboy now. And just to clarify, probably because I talked over that bit, he's saying, I'm not a fanboy of Tommy Robinson. I don't always agree with what he does. But when he reposts your racism onto his racist platform, you immediately go running around the internet being like, oh my God, Tommy Robinson, he shared my stuff. But I'm not a fanboy, though. Not fanboying. Okay, DP.
No, just thanks for sharing my post. It's obviously helps my growth on X, isn't it? You know what I mean?
So that other voice you can hear, because this is the actual chat, the proper chat will start in a minute, you know, between me and DP. At the moment, it's just me trying. I'm like, I'm gonna, you know, I can't not say anything, and you know, like I'm gonna obviously say something. So like, but I'm trying not to ruin everyone else's time. Now, on the panel at the moment, there's a person who's got their camera on. This is a fantastic individual who I'm going to let remain nameless right now because I don't know how comfortable they feel being associated with this political stuff because they're not a political person. They're a medical cannabis reviewer. They're an activist in that sort of thing. They don't deal with sort of the cultural talking points and the ethno-cultural group of auditors and stuff like that. They do a different kind of thing altogether. But at the moment, they're displaying what they've just bought from their chemist. Is a THC topical cream, and I know it's THC topical cream because I can read and it's written all over the packaging. This will come in useful in a second. It's literally written on. You can't miss it. It's written there.
Right, it's one of them. But Tommy's also done a lot of things since then that I don't agree with. So.
It's the bum cream.
The bum
cannabis cream. Oh,
medical cannabis cream. What the fuck do you do with that?
What with the topical cream that it's got written on there? I wonder, DP, what would you possibly would do with it? You use it to cover talking points. What else does topical mean?
15 milligram. Oh, what's the THC on that?
What do you do? Eat it on toast or something?
15 milligram.
No, DP, you don't spread topical creams on toast. And if you're doing that, if you're spreading topical creams on toast, I recommend that you stop. I recommend that you get medical attention and you stop putting. It says topical cream on it. I'm reading it right now. And yeah, referring to Ali Dawa as the black guy is really going to add to that friendship. It's match made in heaven.
Oh, 15 milligram THC and 15 milligram CBD. I bet it's got that. That's like.
Let me just skip past this. When are you free? So yeah, no. What are you? When are you free for a chat about it? Because I am really keen to be able to do that in person. That'd be fucking amazing.
I'll do something.
Sounded a bit sheepish there, isn't he? You know, the guy that's constantly like, we'll do this, we'll do that, I'll do this, dear, blah, blah, blah. And then like, all right, we'll meet up and we'll have an interview and I'll ask some of the questions that I was putting in chat, you know, surrounding your recent behaviour and indeed your behaviour as a whole online and the messages and the ideology that you think is harmless that you're spreading. So, yeah. Oh, shit. Guys, this is too much. You need to stop with your loveliness and your kindness. I don't know how to take it. I'm sorry. No, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Shout out to Katie Marshall with another whopping 5 gifted subs. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. Shout out for that. Awesome stuff. Stu Lamb, Big Vlad P, Matt Walker, Ozzy Oz. That person, all of yous, everyone, you're all smelly lefties now. No, thank you so much for that, Katie. Nice one. I really appreciate
it. Maybe in a week, couple of weeks.
He's used it all.
To Scotland and shit.
I don't know why he says he's going to Scotland in a couple of weeks, because they don't want him. Like, I'm just going to bring up an article now. Are they the right? Yeah, okay, I've got the right article here. So I'll share this and make myself a little smaller. There you go. So I just wanted to draw your attention. There was an article written that featured a Dr. Gavin Brewis, a researcher at Queen's University. The Queen's University Belfast, which is, I believe, in Scotland, I'm not sure, who features in a new BBC Scotland documentary on fan culture and Scottish football, said, "Why are there Englishmen coming in our city filming and being abusive towards our fellow Glaswegians? I don't care if they're down on our luck. That's our people." Other ex-users were openly calling for Dunbar to be assaulted, which we don't encourage here. That's just horrible. Otherwise, we'd be no better than Paul Dunbar. So one user said, "Arrogant, abrasive Englishman antagonizing local people. Go home, we don't like you." So I've got no idea why he's planning on, you know, going back to Scotland. I mean, they've literally got like doctors in newspapers writing about this individual and, you know, specifically saying like, please don't come here. Like, don't come here at all. Like, it's terrible. But also, as well, I'll be honest with you, I don't know if he's going up there. I don't think he is. The way that he sheepishly said that, I think he just doesn't want the accountability. Like, and that's the thing, isn't it? That's what we had with what's his face with AY Audits, when AY Audits was doing his best to try and intimidate me. He's like, "You won't be where I am. I'll turn up wherever you want. You won't meet me." And I was like, "Oh, brilliant, sound. Let's meet in a very public place with my camera, and we'll talk about, you know, and I'll interview you about the schools you threatened to burn down." Accountability really scares these people. They don't like answering those questions. So, you know, that's kind of all you need to keep them at bay, really. But yeah, they're not interested in it. They don't want that.
Oh no, it's in the, hey, it's fucking hidden. Check that out. That's but it is.
Right, let me skip
Did it get you high?
Oh yeah. We did. So it just it's cream, innit?
It's
you rub it and it gets you high from rubbing it on you.
No, you stick it in your bum. That's what that is.
You can't make jokes like that to Paul. He will do this. He will mistake it for a suppository.
Yeah. I'd like to try some of that.
I'm sorry, I can't. I know he's doing. There you go. So what the bit I've skipped over is the bit where I was quiet and DP's just carrying on as though he hasn't done all these horrible, atrocious things, as though we don't have this constant sort of back and forth about me reporting on his stuff. He makes AI images of my deceased fiance and things. Like, you know, a fun back and forth, I guess you could call it. But no, we do have that, and it's really weird that, like, you know, he thought that he could follow me on there, and then I was just going to sort of sit there silent. So yeah, I had questions, and this is the start of it now. This is where it really kicks off. Do not think I can't not help it. I'm so sorry, AJ. But like, what do you say to the mothers, like, of the the kids that were like, in the school that you were recording?
Bro, you couldn't see any of the kids' faces. I was over the road, and it was just part of a vlog I was doing. I was just saying.
Yeah, So you could see kids, you could see their uniforms, you could see the school they were in, you could see them like they were there. And you know, this person is outside of a school in a safe space where parents expect their children to be free from this type of exploitation. And so yeah, his answer to that is no, I wasn't. Yes, you were.
Hey, look, there's all the kids' schools around Coventry in the central Coventry. The demographic change in 10 years is going to be huge. You don't agree with that. You don't agree with it. I'm on the fence. You know what I mean?
The majority white town of Coventry. You were taking footage.
No, it's majority white with an older group of people in Coventry. I know my city. The younger generations are not
majority white.
Dropping drastically. That's all the point I was making. Central Coventry is going to be very much a minority of. Within 10 years, they reckon anyway, white British kids are going to be minorities in school. It's happening nationwide. You just don't like the facts. I know. I get it.
No, I don't think that's quite the case. Also, I'm trying to get my head. Nope, the mothers like of the the kid. I don't know what happened there. It kind of jumped around. I'll get us exactly where we were.
You know what I mean?
The majority
with the older.
So majority white.
Dropping happening nationwide. You just don't like the facts. I know. I get it.
No, I don't think that's quite the case. Also, I'm trying to get my head around the fact that because at the moment what we're doing is talking about the act of like recording kids that are like in a safe space where they don't deserve to be exploited for your racist reasons. But like, how do you justify?
How are they being exploited? I just said, look at this.
Well, all right, how is it he is exploiting those children? Should we have a quick look at what the definition of exploitation is? Because it is exploitation. All right, so I'm just looking at it now. It's the act of treating someone unfairly or taking advantage of a power imbalance to benefit oneself. Right. So this person, what he's doing is to try and push his insidious ideology. He's using not anything that they can change about themselves, but their very skin color. He's recording them in their safe space so he can take that footage of their skin color and post it online so that he can then make racist points about demographic change in his majority white town. It's frankly like so outrageous that human beings and modern men actually do this thing. This dude is literally outside of school gates across the road with his camera recording the children so that he can post them to thousands of strangers online making racist points, and he doesn't think that's exploitation. See, here's a power imbalance, right? They are children and he is an adult. He also is making financial gains from taking unconsensual images of these children and uploading them to the internet. There is a huge imbalance. This isn't fair on both sides. What you're doing is you're actively exploiting children with your camera. Was it his camera or those nonce Google things? I don't know if it was the meta glasses. I'm assuming that you're saying. I'm not too sure, to be honest. I don't know if he was overtly recording or if he was covertly recording, because you have to be a bit wary. This individual does covertly record with those glasses and things as well. Just a little tip there. But that's just, I wanted to answer that because what this individual is about to do is engage in a whole shitload of gish galloping and stuff and try and do his damn best to make sure that he talks so much that where he ends is so far removed from where he started that it would be impossible to address everything all at once. But yeah, that is exploitation.
Well, where's the white kids at? There's none. The demographic of this city is going to change rapidly within 10 years. It's going to be completely different. That's
a great question, and I really appreciate you for asking it. How is that exploitation? So those children, they're at school, right? And what you're doing is you're taking a camera, right, and you're recording in their.
I just don't know why you're making it into something like that. I think that's weird, bro. To be honest.
Yeah. See, this defensive nature is really revealing. It's weird, according to DP, that individuals would comment or ask questions about the feelings of parents whose children he is more or less secretly recording from across the road, because he's not gone over there and asked their permission. He's not telling them what's going on. He's just another man stood there on the street. For all they know, he's either on his phone or wearing his Google Meta glasses, whether he's overtly or covertly thingy. It's not anything that they can consent to. Like, it's really bad. It's really bad. And I'm trying not to push as much stuff I'll let you know as my own personal feelings is, you know, regarding that particular type of activity that he's engaging with there. I'm trying to look at this objectively. So objectively, he's getting ridiculously defensive about the idea that obviously someone, especially someone like myself, is saying, hang on a minute, what you're doing isn't auditing. That's not auditing. That's not even like the modern far-right vlogging version of auditing. What you're doing is you're targeting children to exploit them, to put them online. It's not weird, as he describes it, to put this thing to him like that. And that, I think, is, you're going to notice a lot of that. There's a large pattern of him doing this thing, right? Are you ready for it? Darvo. Deny, attack, and reverse victim offender. No, I didn't do anything wrong. You're the weirdo here, really. I'm the victim because, like, you know, my demographic population, the demographic of the population is changing, and, like, you know, it's terrible. There's black people here. I'm not the bad guy. Yeah, those kids were exploiting me, mate. Yeah, no, it's yeah. I don't know why you don't. I don't know why you don't see it as a violation recording kids at school.
Weird.
Shit like
You're
that.
weird to thinking.
And then, well, not only that. So I'm saying, what would the parents think if you were outside, if they knew you were outside of their school, recording their children to exploit them for financial gain, to make racist points on the internet and post them to thousands of strangers? I'm the weird one in that situation. Proper Darvo, proper, you know, deny and attack and reverse victim and offender.
It's come up to me going, can it be in your videos when I'm filming out and about? And I'm like, no, lads, no.
Oh, and then,
how many kids come up to me going, can it be in your videos when I'm filming out and about? And I'm like, no, lads, because it's right-wing content. It's just one of them, just walking past.
So what he's doing there is he's pretty much admitting that he does have somewhere deep down knowledge that having children on, you know, his far right content would be a bad thing, right? Now, those are kids that are like, he's saying that it would be bad for kids who can consent, who are consenting, who are saying, well, I mean, they can't, they're children. Obviously, you know, you'd need parents' permission and everything else before you can take, you know, images of them and upload them to the internet. I don't actually even know what the law is around that because they're in a public space, but that's the decent, normal human thing to do, is to ask permission first. It's the morally correct thing, and I'm pretty damn sure it's the legal thing to do. I'm not 100% too sure on the ins and outs of that, but what he's doing right now is he's accepting that you know, children who are, for want of a better phrase, consenting to being on camera, who are outright asking him if they can be on his camera. He's saying, no, that's wrong because you're children, you shouldn't be on here. But he's saying it's not wrong when it's kids that that you're not allowing, you know what I mean, when it's kids that aren't asking, that can't consent. Like, one group of these kids are not allowed in this content, but the other non-consenting group of kids can go in this content. This content, by the way, is just highlighting how black they are. That's exclusively it. He's just highlighting that they're black and brown, but he doesn't think that's exploitation. When it's kids that want to actively be involved in the things that he's doing on the street, because they don't know, they just see a streamer, he's got a camera, you know, kids think streamers are cool. When it's kids that think he's cool, nah, kids, you can't be on my content, it's dodgy shit. But when, you know, when suddenly there's other children who are at school in a safe space that he can exploit for his own financial gain on the internet, well, that's a different story. That we can do, and you're weird if you try and question it. All right, Paul.
It was part of a vlog. It come out of the clipping thing. It went out. That's all it was. I was just walking past. I was doing a whole vlog talking about Coventry. Yeah, the danger of the city is massive, and I do give a shit about it. You might think I'm wrong for that, but that's where you're far left on right wing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you are. If you measure your comfortability by how many black people are in your city or how many not, you know what I mean? Like, that's, you're being a racist person. You're being literally racist. Now, I think we've got someone in the chat there that says, school a safe space? Bollocks. No, schools are safe spaces. They are safe spaces. That's, every parent has an expectation that when they send their child to school, that some creep across the road isn't going to record them and then upload them to the internet to thousands of other strangers. That's like a basic thing. Oh, yeah, no, you're obfuscating, and we're not actually talking about the actual key topic there, which was...
No, you're just trying to do gotchas. What you're doing is you're doing the typical lefty got you thing. I've got 500 videos.
Typical lefty got you. You asked a question that I don't like. You said a word that I don't understand. How is it exploitation? because he only associates that word with a certain type of people based on their racial profile, because he's, you know, racist as fuck. And I do want to say as well, and I'm going to put it out there, this is just my opinion, and this is just an opinion, but it kind of feels like predators, when you approach a predator across the road who's recording, right? And I'm not saying that DP is, I'm just saying that when anyone that approaches predators that have been filmed, we've seen endless amounts of content of it on YouTube all the time, you know, dads or whoever being like, well, what are you doing recording my kids? It's like a thing, you know, everyone has camera phones, including the weirdos. And, you know, some people pick up, you know, the weirdos being exposed in that. And you'll notice that every time that you speak to these people, they've always got a really good, really logical, decent excuse, right? Oh, it's just part of a vlog. I'm just recording the beach. I'm just out here. Oh, it's just do you know what I mean? They're creating alibis. And I feel like this is very, very much in that territory, in my opinion. And again, just my opinion. And I'm basing that on, you know, track record and my experience, but it's just my experience and just my opinion. But like, come on, it does it for me personally. I'm seeing like a series of serious red flags that are just popping up, like, you know, that this crafting an alibi of, well, I was outside, I had to be outside of that school recording those children because there's people that are white in my town, and there's less of them now. So of course, you see, logically, I have to be exploiting these children and recording them when their parents think they're safe, right?
With
is that what you
hours of shit, and you find little tiny things to make a big deal out of, and you misconstrue it as well, and you fabricate it. Same with the
we're fabricating, guys. What he doesn't like, the words that he says don't even like he. I get, do you know what? I do get a little bit frustrated when I listen to DP, and obviously that's because of, you know, DP is one of the DP together with who else was on the Society X panel at that time. There was a few people on the Stochastic Clubhouse auditors and things that I actually chatted with, you know, and we were the other sides of a debate. I tried to be a left-wing voice in these right-wing spaces, and because of that sort of, that I guess history you could call it. So whenever I go at this person, he sort of, you know, my reporting on him, it kind of gets construed as a sort of a tit for tat type thing, and I guess it's kind of where we're at now. And I am going to be changing that very soon. I've got some plans to get us out of that funk there, because anyone from the outside looking in would think that that's how it is, and they don't realize how all this stuff sort of started. But yeah, do you know what? I've kind of come away from my point now. Let me just that's it. He's minimizing.
You misconstrue it as well, and you fabricate it. Same with the emails. You're all quick to jump on one email, a reply, which was in bad taste, but it wasn't implying grape.
So the email that he's talking about there. Sorry if I kind of got a bit lost on that last point there. That was just my own thing. I was yeah, I had a bit of a brain fart. But no, I'm gonna take us now to another article. So let's have a look at. Oh, if it wants to work. So I'm having a couple of laptop issues. Searchlight Paul Dunbar. Here we go. So when he's talking about emails now, which he's freely brought up on his own during this verbal exchange that we're having here, he's talking about these. Now let me make myself not solo layout so you can see it. And then we shrink in. And let me just remove this comment as well. Sorry, I left that hanging on there. All right, so these are the emails that he's talking about. This is the headline that we're about to start discussing. I thought it's important to show this first so that you have some sort of content, because he seems to think that I'm not going to say that word again because I don't even remember how important it is, but I'm not fabricating information. I'm not creating lies about this individual. These are his emails. This is a report. Look, Paul Dunbar's threats, you know, that comes from his emails. This is a whole article about him. All right. This isn't, I have nothing to do with Searchlight magazine. I mean, sure. Do I wish that I did? Yeah, why not? I'd work for Searchlight. They seem fucking awesome. An anti-racist journalist extraordinaires. Yeah, no, they're awesome. They're a really cool outlet that does a lot of good for society. Like if I worked for Searchlight, I'd go home every night thinking, you know what? I've done my bit. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I am now, but a little bit more so with these guys. Like, they're awesome. But yeah, as I said, this outlet has put this news outlet put out this headline referring to the emails that he sent, which is we're going to get back to it now. The emails that he's talking about. So I'll cover up there, and then we'll share this tab now.
At all, right? What it said is make moves and back them up. Yeah, I'll take the lads because the guy. The guy emailed me initially that morning after a whole week of threats about Liverpool, doxing my children as a little girl in group. Yeah, and my address after a week of that, and sent me an email at 9 in the morning saying your daughter and your brother on OnlyFans. So I replied with distaste. But none of you lefties, even though I've put it out on Searchlight, I've put that anywhere. And also that same individual I've mentioned sent this email to his friend. You're going on, hold on,
no one's actually,
guys, for months, about 4 times since that. The last one was last week. Has been messaging my little girl directly, saying sexual things directly. But they don't ever mention that.
Yeah. Right. I just want to clarify. There is absolutely no evidence of any description that meets what Paul Dunbar's just said. There is nothing out there. He says he has this information. He's posted some information about the horrible things this person wrote to him, which admittedly were just as terrible. I mean, not just as terrible. They were bad. They were real bad. But like, he's trying to turn, like, you know, he's trying to justify the threats of rape and things that he said with, well, this person said something that I disagreed with and I don't like and blah blah. And rather than just blocking them, he decided to. That's what he's doing right now. He's trying to justify his own actions. He's trying to minimize what he did by maximalizing what this person did. And in true auditor fashion, he's also just. I think I'm going to put my head out here and say, I think he's lying. There isn't any, and this is a story and a subject that I have been almost obsessively following because it's quite a big major thing. Shout out to BC as well. Good to see you in the chat, man. But yeah, this particular individual, this character, does have a track record for just making things up, and there has been up to now that I can find, and not just me, but the researchers that I work with at the moment. I've got a whole group of really awesome people that are really helping out backstage, and they're not finding it either. Like, it's not there. It might not even be real. I think he's just made that up. But yeah, don't quote me. Don't quote me. Maximizing. Damn it, I said maximalizing. Oh my God, I've done a DP. Never mind. Maximizing. Damn it, Crow. I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for them damn pesky crows. Yeah. So, okay, Paul.
No,
so
you
back
can't,
to
can
the
you?
original. And also, as well, it's got to be said, just before I move on, and I'm sorry if I'm, pausing it a lot here, but I know you guys want to hear us going at it, but I just want to show you what gish galloping is, right? So gish gallop, you might find that gish galloping is a tactic that you've seen that other people are using, and it's also not a conscious one all the time. Like, some people subconsciously do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just they feel intuitively that this is the best way to get out of that particular conversation. But a gish gallop is a debate tactic where someone overwhelms an opponent by presenting a large number of misleading arguments, and the goal isn't to make sound points, but to bury the opponent in so much falsehood that they can't possibly refute every claim that's in the time allowed. There's no way that in the few seconds that he allows me to speak without him talking, that I could possibly rebuttal the many lies that he fills in there with the gish gallop. So it's important to understand what that is. I mean, I do sort of explain it in a minute, but once you hear it once, you'll never be able to unsee it again, if you will.
Because it doesn't suit your narrative.
Paul, what you did then was you just talked a lot from one point and then
no, I didn't. I explained exactly what happened. That's what you do. Oh, you just talked a lot. I'm sure everyone there
doing it again now.
Exactly what my point of view is on what's happened. Months of vile emails, messaging my children, putting my children's pictures. I went to a 14-year-old girl, by the way, in all these anti-audit agreements.
I said, you're doing a gish gallop. He said, I'm not doing a gish gallop. So I'm talking about this other unrelated thing that isn't related to the word or phrase gish gallop. I'm going to ignore what you said and I'm going to talk about this thing. Then that thing's going to lead to something else, which is going to lead to why you're a bad person. It's a gish gallop. It's just misinformation blustering. He just doesn't like or understand how to engage properly in conversation like this.
groups.
You're doing
right?
that same
One
tactic
email,
now.
searchlight,
Gish
then get this
galloping.
email and make out it's some mad thing about me attacking the left. That the only
Paul,
person I ever messaged was the email guy who was viciously
you're not
trolling me.
listening,
So
are
you've
you?
narrowed
Your
it.
ears aren't working. Right, okay. So as I was saying, what you're doing is a tactic called Gish galloping. Are you familiar with that? It's a tactic where one person tries to overwhelm another person with this mad, excessive, rapid-fire stream of weak arguments.
If I was on your panel, you would kick me right now.
No, I would have muted you at least. It takes a minute, but I would have. This thing here that he's alluding to is he said this before. I'm not like throwing this assertion on him. It's not just like an idea that I've got. It's something that he says. He thinks that I'm sort of trampling on his right to free speech because I don't invite him onto my own panel. Which, by the way, we have done before. We have had him on panel. We have given him room to be able to explain himself. And then he does this, where he gish gallops. And then he also says, like, randomly, he'll just insert some, like, racist slur or something. And he just says, like, the wild, you can't actually communicate, which is why, rather than me presenting you with, like, oh, here's a good faith debate that I had with Britain's most racist auditor, instead, what happened was Britain's most racist auditor just talked over everything. Just talk. Like I said, I get like 5 words out for every mad, unhinged rant, gish gallop that he throws out there. That's why he's not allowed on the panel. And also, your right to free speech, like, rights to freedom of speech, also, like, doesn't include trampling on my right to not be around you. Like, you don't get to force you. Like, the right of free speech isn't about forcing your words and sweaty wet breath down my fucking ear hole. It doesn't work like that. That's not what free speech is. But you do.
Of course you would have, because you're a control freak. You show so many red flags. I reckon you abused that poor girl.
A rapid fire. Like, listen, right, DP. First of all, don't talk about my feelings. See this. I'm a nasty bastard. I'm controlling, and controlling behavior, if you don't know, is it's a pattern of behavior that's dominating, where one person uses manipulation or intimidation, coercion, or isolation, things like that, to strip away another person's independence. I'm not stripping away your independence, Paul. I'm not manipulating you. I'm not coercing you, and I'm not dominating you. I'm not trying to intimidate you. All of those things, however, have been used as a tactic to not just myself, but many other people that report on these issues. In fact, the first time he appeared in a newspaper, I believe it was the Leicestershire Gazette, first time he was reported on properly, he was talking about how he was going to turn up at their office and stage some sort of protest because they called him racist. And again, it's not just me that says this, like, it's all these different various unrelated outlets, Searchlight Magazine, the Byline Times, who we will come to in a bit, the Leicestershire Gazette, all of these news outlets, credible news sources, who, by the way, if you're unhappy with any of the reporting they've done on you, you can go to Ofcom. They are regulated. Like, you can do that. It works.
You're a vicious cunt.
DP, between the two of us, who's been arrested for domestic incidents?
I haven't been
Who
arrested
sent
for
threats
domestic
of rape?
What are you going on about?
Do you see how he flipped that? Where I said, you have been arrested, between the two of us, because he was calling me nasty, and perhaps this maybe does it definitely doesn't, but I'm going to be overly generous. Let's say that, me bringing this up isn't just, proving that his point isn't wrong, but it's also projecting. But yeah, there's also, I got distracted by a chat then. We're going to try and be better than that. We're going to try. I've been analysing some of the language and stuff that we're using, and we are going to try and be a little bit better than that if we can. Obviously, have your fun in the chat, but just remember that, there are people, and the people have families and stuff like that. But yeah, and obviously, and again, just to jump back, I know I'm sort of doing that tangential thing where I'm bouncing around, but DP, saying that I'm the controlling nasty one, and what I'm doing now is I've sort of started to engage now in explaining how that's not true, and that perhaps this is engaging because you are, like, this is projecting, sorry, because you're doing that. That's why you're engaging like that. Yeah, so he's trying his best to talk over everything and make sure that his end point is wildly and utterly removed from the first one at the start. But your boy Lewis, he's on it. He's got it. JOJ for the win. Let's have a look. DP, you're not. Are you not gonna for a domestic incident? You've never been arrested for domestic incident. No. Same one we were arguing. Well, that was it. Yeah, I said. Have you ever been arrested for a domestic violence? No, sorry. I didn't say that. I said, have you ever been arrested for a domestic incident? Which, of course, the answer is yes. He has, and this is something that he admitted, that he was forced to admit, because when he fell out with Anthony Barnes, aka AY Audit, AY Audits alluded to the fact that he had in fact been arrested for a domestic incident, forcing DP to have to confess that he had. And obviously, just like with, you know, the outside the school thing, the rape threats and all of that stuff, it's not what it seems. Everyone's out to get him. And, you know, that's just not, you know, it's neither here nor there. It never really happened. Not the way you think it did. Okay. Incident.
I haven't been
Who sent threats of rape? I didn't say violence. I said domestic incidents.
No,
DP, you're not. Okay. Are you not gonna for a domestic incident? You've never been arrested for domestic incident. No. Same one we were arguing about in the chat. So right now he's just said no. Remember that lie in your mind, right? Just put it back there for a second. We'll have to hold on to it for long because, you know, it doesn't take long to make up a lie, does it? But yes, listen to this now. You weren't arrested, no? You weren't NFA'd.
I was NFA'd because my...
He wasn't arrested. Were you arrested? No. So you weren't NFA'd, which means no further action. He then says, yes, I was NFA'd. Thus for, you must have been arrested. These are the simple and easy to break down lies and misinformation, these mistruths that they put out there as easy as they breathe. And when I say they, I mean the far right. So when we look at, you know, let's zoom out of DP for a second, and let's zoom out of tier 5 for a second, which is where the on-the-ground activists and auditors exist. And let's look at the whole tier structure that we've created, you know, from the top tier 1 establishment figures, you know, down to these guys. All of them, they rely on misinformation. They rely on lying because their worldview doesn't align with reality. Now, whether that's because, you know, you're pushing this worldview because you're financially gaining from this, because ideologically you gain from this, you know, it doesn't really matter. The point is that you have to ignore reality and make things up. Of course, DP could never have been NFA'd by the police, which means no further action, if he wasn't first arrested. It doesn't make sense because he's lying. He was arrested for a domestic incident. And I'm not trying, and again, I want to make this clear. He was given a no further action. And that's pretty much all I know about those circumstances outside of what, I mean, I don't know if he was given a no further action, actually. That's just what came from DP, but those are the things that we can work on, right? And so when we look at like this, the reason why that's important is because when we look at the Southport riots, for example, 41% of them also had previous connection with the police for domestic incidents. There's a pattern here. That's why it's important to note this stuff. I'm not just trying to rub it in his face that, oh, by the way, you've been involved in a situation that, frankly, I'm a stranger to and know nothing about. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to point out that there is a pattern here, that he is starting to fit that, you know, that he's starting to go down that very same pathway that we've seen lots of other people do before. It isn't as chaotic as it seems. You can track this, you can record it, you can log it, and you can understand it. There is a structure to this. There's patterns, and it's not wrong to look at the patterns.
My ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend attacked me because he's a drug dealer.
So his ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend attacked him, which is why he was arrested on that domestic incident. Okay.
Psychopath, and now he attacked me. And then when he attacked me, he said his excuse for it was that I threatened to kill him. So the police had to arrest me through protocol, and that's why he's NFA. I've even put that out.
So that I don't think that's police protocol either. Like they have to look at things like the seriousness of it. Like if there's any sort of credibility to things like that, there's a whole process before that. They don't just go and arrest people like willy-nilly. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm also not going to sit here and pretend like the police do everything that's written in the handbook, like they're not a bunch of thumbs themselves. Like I get it, you know what I mean? They're a necessary thing that should be reformed from top to bottom. We need a police, just not in the way that we have it. But the police that we have now currently isn't in the business, as far as I'm aware, of just randomly arresting DP for no reason. Just someone, well, that guy there did this thing, he attacked me, and so I then got arrested. Like, I'm not saying it didn't happen flat out. I'm just saying that based on everything else this man says, I'm dubious, and so we're not gonna take that as gospel, not in any way, shape, or form.
Out there, I put it all out there,
right?
Because I don't lie. Everything's out there. If you want to go and see all,
I don't lie, says the man who claims he didn't get arrested, but was then NFA'd for the incident that he didn't get arrested for. And that incident, and the reason why he was arrested was because his ex-girlfriend's current boyfriend attacked him. come on, Paul. Like this can't be good for your mental health and everything else. And like I've been caught lying before. I've been a kid, right? You know what I mean? We've all done it. Like when I was a teenager or something, it's like, oh, did you nick the last of those treats out of that cupboard thing over there? And I'm like, no. I don't know about you, but I've got to tell. I start to sweat like immediately. Like I start sweating. It's uncomfortable. It's not a nice position to be in. Like I'm sure that like acting or something in the right setting is fine, but telling mistruths, usually lying to people, like it's quite an uncomfortable position to be from. You know what I mean? So he can't be enjoying this. Like I don't know what made him want to follow me on there in the first place, but I guess it's that compulsion to try and squash even channels as small as mine. Just any criticism, anything that comes out that says, hang on a minute, this person isn't what he's presenting himself to be. If you just can't help it, it's a compulsion. And to the point where I do actually genuinely empathize with him. He doesn't want to be in this situation. And this is probably why, because he starts to get more nasty progressively as we go along. And like, you know, he could tell that nobody else on the panel is talking because nobody else was expecting this. He just jumped on the panel and then this happened. And hands up, I probably should have tried to, oh, you muted yourself. Oh, okay, right, okay. Sorry, someone thought I was muted, no sound. And then, oh, never mind, I muted myself. But yeah, God, right, I'm going to stop paying attention to the chat just for a little bit and let you guys do your thing because I keep getting a little bit distracted with what's being said and stuff. But nobody on this panel really wanted this to happen, and I accept my part in that. Obviously, I could have just walked away and then tried to get that interview that I was asking for, and we could have done this in person, sat down, where those lies and the subsequent abuse and personal attacks that he levels at me probably wouldn't have happened at all because you know that's not how people tend to conduct themselves in person. So I should have done, but I didn't. And so now he's like, right, okay, I've got to jump on this battle, ruin everyone else's experience, and just squash, talk, and not let you get anything out or finish a sentence. You'll notice as well, I rarely finish a sentence in this. Like, he just straight over the end of it.
All these emails, go on the pages, they're all
Paul,
there.
Paul,
everything.
Paul, for every 5 words I get out, you have this weird. Have we already covered that? So I'm just going to try and talk a bit and maybe let me finish what I'm saying, then respond to it. Yeah. And then that way you can't be, gish galloping, which is again where you just sort of overwhelm someone with like a torrent of mistruths and half information and misrepresentation.
Stop projecting. I know you're nasty. I can see it.
And now you're going to do it now again, right? Okay. So this guy is currently trying to. So I'm finishing the sentence and I'm going, right, let me finish the sentence and don't try to gish gallop over me. Before, he's not actually addressing any of the points I'm saying now. He's just talking over that. He's interrupting me being interrupted and explaining that I keep being interrupted so that he can talk over it and then say that I'm a narcissist, which, by the way, I'm assuming that he's getting this from the fucking, the race school of doing psychologistism good, right? Because obviously he's not a doctor, and this thing about narcissism and stuff, like, it's becoming one of those phrases that's quite commonplace now, and it's thrown around as more of a slur for self-centered people and people that aren't being considerate, which, by the way, is everyone. Most people can be self-centered sometimes. Most people can be inconsiderate. It's newsflash, it's part of being a human. But these guys think that they're arrogant enough, and I say these guys because there's not the only one. It's a common tactic used by people who are not doctors to diagnose you with a medically diagnosable condition. I'm not qualified to say that he's a narcissist. I believe he is. It is my opinion, of course. But I'm not just going to tell him that he definitely is. The internet also isn't capable of telling you whether or not you're a narcissist or not. You need a doctor. ChatGPT can't tell you. It doesn't work like that.
Carry on then. Go on. Say what bullshit you're going to say.
So, yeah.
I know. You've got to do gotcha. You've got to try and...
He's like, go on then, say it. And then I go, oh. Right. And anyway, so I sort of gathered myself a second because he's so exhaustingly frustrating. It's like pulling teeth when you talk to this man. It's painful. It really is. And so, yeah, I sort of had to get myself again and be like, right, don't call him a knobhead or say that, don't do X, Y, and Z, because at the end of the day, I'm a person too. And like, I do get frustrated a lot when people, especially when they're talking over you being, and there is a huge history here. This man has, made deep fake videos about my deceased fiance, and is currently literally actively, as we're talking, spreading the malicious rumor that I was involved in the end of her life and stuff, and all of these terrible things that, by the way, because we were living, a very much a public life, I guess you could say, because we were recording for a television show, we were posting to social media, we were doing all that stuff. Because of all of that and her previous television series, it's something that you can Google. Like, you could just Google his lies and you can see that none of what he was saying is true. And that, see, I'm doing it now again, where like it gets, what I'm trying to say is, I say all that to say that it is personal. And throughout this, I'm going to say trigger warning, and I should have said it sooner. Not only are you going to hear him saying like the odd slur or whatever, but you'll hear me, myself, losing it a little bit and saying words and phrases and things that I should be better than. And I will admit that. Like, I think at one point I even I called him like a racist freak or something. Like, the word freak, like, oh my God, that has never been in my vocabulary. And I am ashamed to admit that I did that, but I did it. And, you know, I just wanted to explain that there was a bit of a personal thing there. It's not my usual self. It is out of character for me. However, that being said, you know, there isn't really much of an excuse for it. And I'll hit play, and when you come across it, you know, you'll know what it is I'm talking about. But here we go.
Got to me.
You're not going to let me talk, are you, Paul? Paul, you're going to keep gish galloping, aren't you? So, right, this is why I don't have you on my panel, for among many reasons. But as I was saying, back to the original point, though, that as a person with the history that you've got, yes, you have had police contact for domestic incidences. That's what we've covered there. Whether it was, so that's what we've covered there. You also have been in headlines that say that you've sent rape threats to people's daughters. I'm just going to leave this here for a second while I play this next bit.
It wasn't a headline. It was by a far left irrelevant publication that only gets out there because of people like you, for starters. So let's not say.
It was literally a headline. That is what you call this block of text here that heads the top of the page. You know, the line that heads the top of it all, that's the headline. It is a headline. And by the way, I don't work for Searchlight, and I don't push. I'm not the like, Searchlight isn't just some like dude that is in a shed like typing away on some fucking laptop, like just some random lefty shit that I and only I do. Like it's none of that. What he's trying to say is, he's going, well, you're a YouTuber and you don't have much credibility, which is fair because I'm not a journalist. I'm not. I mean, it could be argued I'd perhaps fit the citizen journalist thing, which was ironic. I had that conversation with someone quite a while ago, and considering all the work we do against citizen journalism, may actually qualify for citizen journalism, depending on how you look at it. But no, I'm not a journalist. I'm not affiliated with him. I don't push them. I don't do any of that. But he wants to associate them with me and me with them, and try and like both at the same time. You both just have got an axe to grind. Like, it's ridiculous.
Not say it's a headline.
No.
Like Searchlight or something special.
Searchlight magazine is an anti-fascist watchdog publication that's been going for quite some time now, and it's been advising governments and all sorts. DP. All right, just gonna do a bit of. I know that my mods would have absolutely have nuked that comment. That comment's definitely gone on that side. I'm sure it is, and that user is almost definitely banned or in timeout or whatever. Like, I get it. I'm also, if you see in the YouTube that it looks like I've taken further action, it's because I've done it from StreamYard. I just didn't want to look at it. That was quite abhorrent. We all agree that DP's ideology and his practices, his methodology, his content, all of this stuff is totally fair game. Everything else isn't. You don't need to do that. Not here. I don't know why you think that, like... But that's going for quite some time now, and it's been advising governments and all sorts. DP.
Out there because of people like you, for starters. So let's not say it's a headline.
No.
Like Searchlight or something special.
Searchlight magazine is an anti-fascist watchdog publication that's been going for quite some time now, and it's been advising governments and all sorts. DP. I don't know why you think that. Like, but that is. So I love the way they do this as well, where they go like, but that headline doesn't count. It's not real. You know, this headline right here that was written by Searchlight magazine. Oh, that doesn't count. And why doesn't this information count, DP? Well, because we don't like the source. The source is actually some little tiny irrelevant thing. Actually, it's one of the largest anti-fascist watchdogs that we have in the UK. It's an anti-racist publication that focuses on anti-Semitism and all those great things for society. It advises governments and stuff. And then when you tell him that, his response is, This is the thing. When they can't discredit the information, they'll go for the source. When they can't discredit the source, they'll go for me, I guess. It's only a thing because I push them. What a weird thing to say. Can you accept that's the truth?
They're not credible. They're not a credible source, mate. Can you acknowledge what I just said is true?
They are a credible source. They are a credible source that is regulated by, you know, things like Ofcom and everything else. They're renowned, in fact, for their investigative journalism into the far right. He just doesn't like where their credibility and everything else is aimed, because it's aimed at the far right. That's it. He doesn't like it.
Everything. The thing that I said, this is what's been going on, and they didn't do nothing. They're narrative spinners, my friend.
Before, when you said I don't dance around the questions, I'm asking you a direct question. That was in the chat as well, because like I said, I was asking him some questions in the chat about, you know, like the ones that I asked him at the very beginning, like what do you say to the parents of the children who you're exploiting on YouTube for your racist and financial gain? And then, you know, he was dancing. I was like, don't dance around the questions. That's a reference to that, just because obviously it sounds like I've skipped over something, or I definitely haven't. And I'm also being very sure to do that because there was a few people that, in anticipation of this stream, were making predictions of like, oh, he won't play the whole thing, he won't do this. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? He's doing, like, as far as like, in, you know, like investigating or reporting on these individuals and stuff, like, he's doing my job for me. Like, he's just reporting on himself. Before, when you said I don't dance around the questions, I'm asking you a direct question, and you're just not actually addressing the things that I'm saying, are you? You also tried to say, so can you accept, and this is a direct question, can you accept that everything I've just said about Searchlight Magazine is categorically, researchably, provably true?
You keep breaking up.
I don't keep breaking up. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt there, Paul, which is far more than you deserve, and say that must have been on your end. But no, I don't keep breaking up. It can, the way you said it sheepishly as well, and at the end of what I said, I kind of feel like you heard exactly what I said. And you needed to put a little bit of space in between. Yeah, you need to put a little bit of space in between you saying that, no, they're not that, and then, yes, they are that. Right. I was just saying that, can you answer a direct question? Do you accept that everything I just said was absolutely true? That Searchlight is an anti-racist watchdog publication that advises governments and all sorts. It's not just some random rag, is it?
Advises the government, yeah. Yeah.
I love how he talks over everything, and then when it comes to questions like that, where he can't actually lie his way out of it, like, he's just going quiet. Also, I think he's just giving himself time to use ChatGPT, which does actually become a feature of this conversation, by the way. Remember how he's saying that Searchlight aren't credible? Well, according to ChatGPT,
doesn't mean they're right. So, they're not relevant. Everyone knows you're the fucktards with it.
so is there
an investigation?
I fucking god damn this individual. Yeah. So he's like, doesn't mean that they're right, doesn't mean that they're anything, doesn't mean this or that. And it's like, yeah, okay, so what we were saying was, you said that they weren't a credible, solid source. That, you know, they were just some sort of leftist rag, essentially, was what he was implying. Right. Also, as well, I just want to, there's some more misinformation in the chat by Mei Chong. Also, as well, I'm kind of glad that you're here, because it was you that was giving out misinformation on Hope Not Hate with the false passports and things. Turns out they went to court recently for that, and I won't hold it against you, but don't just ignore that and then come in here saying, you know, the criminal ongoings of Searchlight Magazine. Stop. Just chill.
Into Hope Not Hate and a government collusion. Hold on a minute. Isn't there an investigation into their, because they were part of Hope Not Hate?
No. Searchlight were not part of Hope Not Hate. I mean, I do explain. Do you know what? I'll let myself explain this properly now. And I'll go back for a bit more context as well, an extra 10 seconds. And while I'm doing that, I'll get you an article up and we'll have a look at it.
Everyone knows you're the fucktards with it.
So
isn't there an investigation into Hope Not Hate and a government collusion? Hold on a minute. Isn't there an investigation into their, because they were part of Hope Not Hate? They were a sidearm of it. and they're under investigation, hope not hate, by the government for the government labour and stuff, doing dodgy dealings with them. They're under investigation.
So
what are you going on about? So you can call them credible all you like because you agree with them, but I don't.
Searchlight,
and a lot of people
Searchlight
don't.
Searchlight are not a branch of Hope Not Hate. Searchlight, in fact, predates Hope Not Hate. Did you know that? Did you know that? What about you guys? Does anyone know that? You'd know that if you watched. What was it now? That brilliant The Walk-In. The Walk-In. It was fantastic. Is it on Netflix or something? I can't remember. It might have been a BBC one, but it was about the Hope Not Hate and its origins essentially, and the creator and things of Hope Not Hate, Nick Lowell and stuff, and where it all comes from. Good evening, room for debate. I hope you're good. But Searchlight predate Hope Not Hate. Hope Not Hate is, for me, for example, Hope Not Hate was the first anti-fascist watchdog publication that I came across. Then I found Searchlight, but Searchlight has been going for longer than Hope Not Hate. They are sort of entwined in some. Do you know? I'll let me explain it one way. But essentially, like Hope Not Hate got like the people that created Hope Not Hate started in Searchlight magazine. That's how it is. Hope Not Hate was. It's like Searchlight is not the subsidiary of Hope Not Hate. Like it's not. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And this investigation thing here. They're under investigation by the government for doing dodgy dealings with the government. It's got more faith in government integrity than I do. Absolutely. I will explain in a second what this investigation is. You won't be surprised to learn that that's also not true.
Yeah, I'm not going into the nuances of these anyway. They're all fucking far left publications.
The nuances. You told a bunch of lies, and you're saying, well, it's a branch of this, that, and well, it isn't. It's literally.
Right, I'll go on with ChatGPT. We'll find out who they are.
Yes. Him saying he was going on ChatGPT, like, really threw me for a second, because he was like, "Oh, they're not credible. Searchlight's not credible. The Byline Times aren't credible. they're all incredible. No, wait, they're the opposite of that." But no, and then he's like, and then let me prove this by going to ChatGPT, which of course, ask Matt Goodwin, is the single most solid, reliable source of information in 2026. God, brings a tear to my eye to see that man really doing some proper journalism. He's living up to the name now, isn't he? DP Audits. What a legend. He's verifying his facts with AI. Yeah, Searchlight magazine. They predate Hope Not Hate. And they're a fantastic publication. And yeah, you know, but you just said it's
well, they're not.
Like a branch of Hope
because they like to get like to take anti-auditor trolls and get anti-auditor trolls who have been harassing someone for months.
Also, anti-auditor trolls. That's an interesting way of saying people that your trolls online. It's like, because DP, like being an auditor, a modern auditor, in the way that we know it and understand it, auditing being this this collection of individuals, far-right vloggers and things that go up and down the high street causing confrontation and doing all that, they are largely racist, right? They're largely very racist. So when you get these people that are like, oh, they're anti-auditor, I think what they're trying to say is they're anti-racist, because it would be difficult to say, oh, this anti-racist keeps trolling me. And then people might ask, why is the anti-racist trolling? Not that I'm agreeing with trolling. I'm just saying that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to separate his, the practice of auditing originally, and then, like as a raw thing, and his actual actions. They're not anti-auditing. They're anti-racists. Like that's who their platform, because this platform is sorry, not who they're platforming. That's who is being attacked by DP with these threats. By the way, as well, when he says like, oh, these are the trolls, he's trying to justify by attacking the character of the of the people that sent him horrible things, which admittedly are horrible. There's no argument here from even that, but he's trying to justify this by being like, oh, anti-auditor trolls. Stop. Just stop.
harassing their children, right? And after the fact, right? Get one construed email, an angry sent back email from a.
I think he means misconstrued. I think that's what he's trying to say. And again, when he's talking about email, he's talking about the email that contains this headline that you're seeing right now.
From a vile email in the morning that didn't say what it said. It was bad taste what I said, but I didn't construe.
It didn't say what it said. It was bad taste what I said. Now, at this point, it would be unfair to not just show you what he said, right? So we're going to share this tab instead, and then we're going to... I know I have shown you, but sort of in passing. So, you know, let's be fair. Let me make it bigger, make me smaller. Hey, I'm only 5'7". All right, I'm in the corner. Right. Here you go. This is the email. Yeah, one day you're getting it. I'll see you soon and it won't be filmed. I'm going to come get a lunch at Wagamama's, which I believe is alluding to where one of these people work, I think. But then he goes, I'm going straight for your wife at that NHS trust she works at. So while we've been talking about the obvious horrific, you know, threats of rape and stuff, but also we kind of get sidetracked that this person's wife was also targeted, and I think he got the wrong individual anyway. Like, this isn't the guy he thought it was when he was messaging him. So there you have it. Let's have a little look a bit further in. I'm going straight for your wife at the NHS trust she works at. And I'll find your daughters as well. Might get one of the lads to make moves on them, then film them being smashed like the little slags they are. And I'm sorry about using that word. It was the word he used. I didn't see much point in self-censoring because it's literally written in front of you. But it is a horrible gender-specific slur. In fact, the only acceptable time you can ever say that word is if you are Danny Dyer, and only in this context. Right, let me turn this up.
Bunch of fascist slags.
There you go. That's the only time that you can do it. That's the only time it's acceptable. Otherwise, it's an abhorrent, misogynistic. I mean, look at, if without even like just on the face of it, like the slurs that are used to describe women and stuff. Also, he doesn't know how old these girls are, just that they're daughters. They could be children. I don't know how old they are. They could be children. He doesn't know either. And we know he doesn't know because he says, I think that they're adults. They should be adults. I think that they are. But he sent this to the wrong person anyway about their family. Yeah. So, yeah, that is a threat of sexual assault. That is absolutely what that is. Does that in any way, shape or form imply any sort of consent? None of that. This headline is true because that is the email that he sent. Gonna go back just a little.
And after the fact, right? Get one construed email, an angry sent back email from a vile email in the morning that didn't say what it said. It was bad taste what I said, but I didn't construe grape at all.
Not at all. Not at all, he says. See, this is the thing. This individual will never admit to the wrongdoing that he's done. He will always dance around it because there is always a pre-made audience for him to be able to inject himself into that don't really care because he says and does the things that make them feel comfortable. Sorry, one second. Just need to clear my throat. Oh, so sorry. Very chesty last couple of days. Oh, and I've run out of my inhaler, which probably explains it. I think we've come to the conclusion there, so I'm going to get that sorted out as soon as I can. But yeah, it wasn't misconstrued. We read it. We know exactly what it is. You are not the victim here, but that's what he ultimately is trying to do. He is trying to present himself as the victim of his own threats of rape to a man's children, who he doesn't know if they're young or old or whatever, just kids. He just knows that there is. And when I say kids again, I'm not trying to imply that they were children. I don't know either. Yeah, and like, This, yeah. There was nothing in that about consent, no nothing like that. There is no two ways about what this is. And furthermore, he's moaning about them not accepting his emails and such. He could, and there's nothing wrong with doing this, go to Ofcom. There are regulating bodies and like there are whole organizations and infrastructures dedicating to the regulation of. There's an entire government and everything. There are people that you can go to. Has he tried any of that? Has he? Bollocks. Because then Searchlight, and it'd have to be like, you know, brought out into the naked light of day. Instead of it just being one headline, it might be more. And he knows what the truth is, which is what we all know it is, which is what we see with our eyes. Well, no, that kind of made it sound like I was trying to make your mind up for you when I say we all. Make your own mind up, obviously, of course. Whoa. Whoa, look at this. Look at this. Just did another one. Yo, this is getting insane, this. Oh my God, that's another 5 gifted subs. Just wow, thank you so wow. I don't actually know how to respond to this, guy. I will get better at it. I'm really sorry. I just sort of like it blows me back every single time. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate all the love and the support. Much love and many peas for everyone. The received people, I'm gonna have to find a better way of saying that. The new members that were gifted by Crow, that'll work, is Miss Mo to you, Scott Farrington, DJ Hertz 2020, and Dodge 6996. You guys are the new gifted. Am I missing? I keep constantly like missing one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the 5th? Where is the 5th? Is anyone seeing it in the chat? Yeah, by 4, by 5, and only 4 given. And that's not the first time that's happened this stream. Like other people have done that. That's mad. Right. Also, just using this opportunity to reply to a message quickly because I'm shamelessly ADHD and I forget to reply and do things like that. Right, there we go. That's that done. But shout out to you, Crow. I really appreciate that. So kind of you. And we'll try and find those missing members. We'll see where they're gone. So now we've had just a run through it as well. We had 5 off Gillian. Thank you so much. It was so incredibly kind. We had 5 off Crow. It was his first 5. We also had 5 off Katie. Again, so very kind. Quack, SWALX managed to score themselves a membership for the last month, which is awesome, and they're showing off. Thank you so much for the support. And another gifted 5 subs. Thank you, guys. Honestly, I don't know. It's really hard because I keep repeating the same sort of phrases over and over, like, oh, thank you so much. But really, from the bottom of my heart, I genuinely mean it. I really do. Maybe everyone else in the chat is already a member, except for Donna. So maybe it's not that. On a genuine note, I don't know how it works. Like, I genuinely don't know how it works. But anyways, I'll figure that out and I'll find out where those gifted subs are going, because you can't be spending, you know what I mean? That's taking £2 off you, technically. That's not fair. And it don't cost them anything to just flick the thing on. So I'll figure out what that is. Maybe it's like a common thing and we'll get to it. But we've had our break and now we get right back to the fuckery.
And I stand by that because I wouldn't do that. Yeah, don't fucking put words in my mouth. That's bollocks, right? And hold on, but then they've not. If they were proper journalists, like you always say, they're transparent. No, you always say journalists are transparent. So why have they not since then put anything out about any of the other context? Why have they not? Even though I contacted them directly and I sent it all more directly.
He's talking about the emails that he received that he thinks justifies the emails that he sent. They don't. They don't do that. They don't. And no matter which way you look at it, it's not a tit for tat. When someone threatens rape on your daughters, that's not a tit for tat. I don't care what you did in the first place. Honestly, I don't. But let's be uber generous and you know, let's say, you know, let's bring it into this context. Yes, they said horrible things. He said earlier in the show that these people were messaging his daughter directly, which is the first time he's made that claim that I've heard of, and I've not seen any evidence of that whatsoever. But what we do know is provably true, is that he, out of sequence, released some emails selectively that go along with this one. And he did so thanks to this channel, because we were the first YouTube channel to run with that story when it was just a like, oh, are these emails even real? We don't know, you know, because they were dropped, they were leaked. We didn't even know if he'd done them. But because we were live discussing the possibility that it might have been his and what that would mean, he then went and posted the fact that it was, confirmed it, and put out a few other snippets of emails that he thought just was enough context to justify the rape threat. He didn't. Paul, as much as it may sound like, because obviously you're not the Prime Minister, but you are a public figure. It's a scale, right? You broadcast to considerable audiences, right? To be fair, that's what you do. You've managed to get yourself into this, you've got your audience already pre-made for you because auditors were doing it, before you were doing it, and you're just another auditor. Of course, they're going to jump over and stuff. And so you've been doing this for quite some time now. And I'm really, really sorry, guys. I'm going to have to sort my dog out in 1 second. Are you okay, buddy? You okay? Are you just coming over to interrupt? Is that what you? Okay, fine. I'm sorry, but no. But yeah, Paul's been doing this for a long time. I'm going to go back there because
definitely not. Even though I contacted him directly.
That's it. He's been doing this for a long time. He is a public figure, right? And so he is not just a public figure, but a figure that is known for being racist. And so an anti-fascist watchdog publication naturally is going to pick up on the rape threats that he sent. It isn't relevant to the story that he was also mean to you beforehand. He was mean to me. He said horrible things. But you, the public figure, sent rape threats to his daughter. Instead of blocking him, which you should have done, instead of phoning the police, which you could have done, instead of doing any of that, you chose to send rape threats. And now, after the act, you're trying to justify it and say that, well, actually, there was other things. And these guys, because they didn't report on this other context, which isn't relevant to the story that they're running, that they're terrible and they're not credible at all. If you really feel that way, go to Ofcom. Why don't you send an email? Why don't you do any of these things? I think it's because you won't like the outcome, because deep down you know exactly how it goes. You know that you're just further proving these things to be true. And that's what would come with challenging it, because they'd have to double down and show their reasoning and everything. And you don't want that, do you? You just instead want to claim to be the victim.
And I sent it all more directly. So if they're credible, then why hasn't that happened? So they're not credible, Lewis, at all.
No, DP, right?
Is that credible? Was that?
Yes, Paul, they are. Why did he say my name like that? That was a bit weird. I didn't clock out the first time.
Credible journalism. Would you say that's good journalism?
Yes.
Would you say that is?
Yes,
because I've heard you many times saying that the people not being transparent and putting context out is incredible.
See, this is why he doesn't know anything, is because when he goes like, oh, so you think this? And you're like, yeah, sure, I'll explain it now. And they're like, nope, I'm just gonna keep talking. Oh no. Oh, balls, skip right back. Right, so it was definitely around here. People indiscriminately. Then why isn't my dad defined as a guy? There we go.
I know what they think about certain people.
Sorry about this, guys. You're like,
I'm racist in your opinion. In your
race, we're getting there.
All of ad revenue, which time takes time, money.
Whoa, sorry about this, guys. We will get right back to where we were. It was a slip. I'd pressed the wrong thing, and then now it's like, you're making us skip back too much.
It isn't a public figure. Like you say, they're part of a troll group. They're just anti-racist.
Right, it's around here. I just want to make sure that I'm
about
not,
that, by the way.
Like,
FYI, I'm not one of these people who goes around women. If they're proper journalists, why are they not? Anyway.
Oh God, I was right there.
And you've now corrected yourself.
I'm so sorry.
The auditor trolls and get anti-auditor trolls who have been harassing someone for months, harassing their children.
I'm going to speed it up.
And after the fact, right? Get one construed email, an angry sent back email from a vile email in the morning that didn't say what it said. It was bad taste what I said, but I didn't construe grape at all. And I stand by that because I wouldn't do that. Yeah. Don't fucking put words in that bollocks, right?
But then
they've not, if they were proper journalists, but you always say they're transparent. No, you always say journalists are transparent. So why have they not since then put anything out about any of the other context? Why have they not? Even though I contacted them directly and I sent it all more directly. So if they're credible, then why hasn't that happened? So they're not credible, Lewis, at all.
No, DPP, right. There we go. Now we're back to it. Although I was enjoying him at that speed, he kind of sounded a bit like a chipmunk.
Is that credible? Was that credible journalism? Would you say that's good journalism?
Yes.
Would you say that is?
Yes.
Because I've heard you many times saying that the people not being transparent and putting context out is incredible. It's credible now.
Right, okay,
You know
so
what I mean?
here's how that worked. Right, what was the headline again? Can you refresh my memory?
I can't remember, Jay, because I don't care because it's bollocks. I've put all of my side out of it. I've put it out numerous times on all platforms. In fact, it's done more views than your entire channel's done in its entire existence, just on the things I've put out about that situation. So plenty of people have seen it, yes. Why do you think my audience haven't turned on me?
Well, for the most part, I mean, they've got quite a tolerance for that sort of behaviour.
They haven't turned on me because I put the truth out there and they know I don't lie.
No,
and I
it's
put it out there.
because
Said,
they've
look, it
got
was bad
quite
taste.
a
I've all put it
tolerance.
out there. Unlike you lot.
You don't have, obviously, AJ, you don't
You like
have
to
show
lie
it,
and
but
pick
this
little
is the
bits and
headline.
bobs and not put
This
any
is the
context.
I'm not
Yeah.
lying. I'm not making it up. I don't work for Searchlight. You don't have to show it, by the way, AJ, or
You wish you
whoever's got
did, though,
control of
don't
the
you?
back. But in the back there is the person that was owning the panel, that was running the panel and stuff. They didn't know that this conversation was going to happen. It was supposed to be about medical cannabis until Paul followed me up onto the onto that platform to engage in this, which is exactly what he was after. And of course, I'm an idiot. I bit, didn't I? I was like, no, we'll save it for an interview and we'll do it properly where it can be, recorded and done, like in a more reasonable setting. Because some of the things that he goes on to say here, you just wouldn't say to a person's face anyway. You know what I mean? I think it would have made for a much more reasonable, better piece of content and stuff that it could be used in both of our favors, given the opportunity to talk whilst also giving myself being able to afford myself the room to be able to explain what it is that I want, because obviously you just get talked all over, don't you? Whereas I thought with an interview that might be, with the role of me asking questions, him answering and assuming that role, it might have been a bit easier. I mean, I'm still might consider that now. I don't know. But I am certainly thinking about moving into doing like video essays and things like that. I could take this headline down now. Sorry, I forgot I had it up for a second. Sorry about that. But the headline was up as well because the person who did that platform that wasn't expecting DP to go up on there, I don't think that they really wanted either one of us to, he wasn't trying to help anyone out. He was just like super feeling awkward, I guess, like because these fucking people are like, it's the first time I've been on that panel as well, actually. You know what I mean? So like I knew some of the people on there. I was chatting to some of my friends and that, but first time I think I'd actively been on this person's panel, and the same for DP. And so, this person wasn't going to present that. So that's why I presented that headline to you now, because, or while I was trying to get it so that, because DP's claiming he doesn't remember it. You don't forget headlines like that. You just don't. And, like he could have Googled it himself and found out, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to say it because he knows what it says. There's the headline, there's the article. Far-right auditor sends grape threats to anti-racist's family. Now you're saying
that's where the lie is as well. Anti-race left. Where's the anti-racist thing come from? Where did that come from?
Paul, you are a racist. The person that you thought that you were targeting was somebody that stands against your racism. They were anti-racist, weren't they? And that's what they were doing. Now, I don't agree with the methods and things. Some of the things that were sent were absolutely, they were awful. They were absolutely awful. But yeah. You can't be. Hey, D, how are you doing? It's good to see you in the chat. Also, as well, Church Bell's here. I don't think I've said hello to. Who else have I missed? Helmhurst is here. We've got Donna. Oh, I've said hello to them, but hello again. And I'm pretty sure. Did I just see a Mank P? I did indeed. I hope you're doing well as well. Right then.
Come from? That was nothing to do with anything, Jay. It was an anti-auditor groups that we've had as auditors.
Yeah, again, auditors in the modern sense, in the way that we know them, the most prominent auditors and things, they are. It's a racist cohort of people. That's how it is. They make far-right vlogging style content at protests, usually antagonizing people. They invade migrant hotels and things. Like, to do a bunch of to have racist ideology, to put forward, things like the great replacement stuff. And then to frame people that are going against you as just anti-auditor is ridiculous. It just is. And you don't get to decide who they are and what their you don't get to decide who they are and what their opinion and how they label themselves either. Like, so you don't and he's just like, no, they're anti-auditors. Well, quite a lot of people are, you know what I mean? Like, it's the racist bit though. It's not the auditing. No one's fussed about auditing. Auditing, when done properly, usually involves like one or more people outside of a police station or somewhere like that, just doing PINAC principles. Their photography is not a crime, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a genuine form of protest. And when the coppers come out and go, "Oi, get over here with that camera! You can't record us. I'm better than you, and I'm above the law, and I'm about to abuse it." It's because it's recorded and live streamed, like because it's specifically because it's live streamed and people can see what's happening there and then. It changes that dynamic. It stops them from abusing your rights like that, and it's reinforced the idea that you have the right to film in public too. Like it's got all of that thing going for it. But that's not what these guys are doing. So he's trying to be like, no, they just hate auditing. No, auditing in itself is raw form sound. What people like you have done to auditing, the way you've hijacked that photography is not a crime and weaponized it to antagonize people, to create racist content and to line your own pockets on the grift is not the same thing. You happen to be a racist, DP, and we know that you're a racist because of all of the racist things that you say and do.
Auditors for years that have harassed us that have nothing to do with politics.
So you're
That's
saying
what we all thought it was. No, so hold on a minute. So how did all of a sudden does it go from a frauditor troll group and a thingy harassing us as auditors like they do to a lot of us because the same person's harassed all of us, vicious
you are a
things,
racist,
talked about our families and stuff. So hold on. Then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, I'm attacking far left activists. What has far left activists got to do with a vicious troll that I'm going backwards forwards?
See, it's this. He's doing that thing now where he's like trying to throw out as many like, no, vicious troll, this, that, and the other. It can't be the way that they've said it. And we've now got to the point where he's denying every sentence. Oh, sorry, not every sentence. He's denying almost every word of that headline, isn't he? You know, like the far right auditor thing. He's dropping the far right. We're just auditors. They're not on the left, so they're not like left wing activists or anti-racist activists. You know, but how would Paul know? He doesn't actually even know who it is that he's talking to. He's just responding with rape threats and stuff. I could explain it to you. Would you like me to explain it to you, or are you just going to keep talking over it? You'll never understand if you. I could explain it to you. It's a really easy, simple answer.
Oh, Searchlight launched Hope Not Hate as its campaigning wing to oppose the electoral growth of the British National Party.
So what he's done is while we were talking about one thing, he was using his ChatGPT, he was using AI to bully it, I'm assuming, into saying what he wanted to say. So like he was talking about an investigation earlier, and we're going to come to that in a second, and he's going to start mentioning it now. But remember that the original point that he made was that Hope Not Hate, sorry, not Searchlight investigation, sorry, Hope Not Hate were the ones that were under investigation. And because Hope Not Hate created Searchlight are just as they're just as big as criminals and fraudsters and liars as Hope Not Hate are. It turns out that as he's about, I'll let him frame it the way he wants to, and then we'll break it down properly. But it's not quite the same. And yeah, quick, change the subject. It's like the Mad Hatter, isn't it? Change places.
The campaign combined Searchlight's investigate works and grassroots campaigning. During this Hope Not Hate operated as part of Searchlight, and its founder, Nick Lowles, was the editor of Searchlight magazine. Fuck me.
So Hope Not Hate.
So again, I've just caught you out. You just said that. No affiliation with each other. Yeah, they do.
I didn't say that. Yeah, he literally said, you just said that they have no affiliation with each other. I never said that. I never said that once, not in the entirety of the conversation that we've had that's taken 1 hour and 37 minutes to review up to now. Not once have I said that. Have you heard that? I didn't hear it. And I know because I reviewed this more than once as well. I'm with people. I know that I didn't say that. Lying and this is another tactic, and it's now he doesn't want to be challenged on the point that he was being challenged on. He felt that it wasn't going his way, or perhaps his AI was agreeing with me when he was trying to ask it, trying to work on it. So we jumped to an entirely different point from a different part of the conversation that we had, misrepresented it as it's almost like a red herring mixed with what other sort of fallacy is this? This is straw man as well, isn't it? It's a straw man. He's setting up a point I didn't make and knocking that down rather than dealing with the point that I actually made. And he's to the point where he's actually putting words in my mouth. They had no affiliation at all. I said that one predates the other, that you were saying that Searchlight is a subsidiary.
I said they used to be part of Hope Not Hate. You said no, they weren't. You said no, they weren't. And I've just literally read it out to you.
I literally was saying that one predates the other.
and that one is its own separate thing, and Hope Not Hate came along afterwards. You were saying that Hope Not Hate was the original, and then Searchlight came from that. I was correcting you, and you've now corrected yourself. Like, what are you? Like, I'm grateful that we've come to the same logical conclusion.
And Hope Not Hate are now part of investigation.
And then straight into moving on to the next point. Hope Not Hate, and now right now, remember this was what, last night before? Like, I'm grateful that we've come to the same logical conclusion.
And Hope Not Hate are now part of investigation for dodgy dealings with the government, so they're not credible. They like to fabricate bullshit.
What was the dodgy dealings with the government? What was the dodgy dealings with the government? Who's investigating them? What was the?
Remember, this man calls himself a citizen journalist, and watch as he fails to be able to articulate what dodgy dealings with the government means. The government are investigating them for dodgy dealings with the government. That's what my chat GPT says. I don't think it does. I think maybe your chat GPT was agreeing with me, perhaps. And yeah, sorry guys, reality has a left-wing bias. Yeah, there's something like that. There's a phrase I've heard that's, yeah, although I mean it would be wasted. So we'll leave that there. But yeah, I don't even think his ChatGPT said that. The dodgy dealing. Anyways, we're obfuscating. You've done it again. We're obfuscating away from your own fucking things. Right, before that legend there who was just speaking, what a guy. Amazing, handsome dude. He's before I bring it back to the actual to the topics and stuff, because he was using that as again, you know, just throwing it out there to try and distract away. So I was trying to bring it back to the original core points, which I must admit by this point I was losing. I wasn't like, sometimes I've been, no, let's bring this back to the beginning, and then I'm like, wait, motherfucker, I don't remember now. Like, it works. Like, Gish Galloping works for real. Like, it's obvious that's what they're doing, but you can't deny its effectiveness. Like, it's simple but effective. Anywho, let's. I'm going to share this here. So, from gov.co.uk, or sorry, gov.uk. I'm solo laying it out. I'm see we'll be able to see it. Let me shrink myself down so we get as much information on the screen as possible. So, Hope Not Hate Charitable Trust. The Charitable Trust addresses concerns following an intervention by regulator. There was no investigation into criminal activity. There was no collusion with the government. There would be an investigation. Do you know what happened? Do you know what actually happened? We'll go through it and we'll look at it, but do you know what happened? They changed the name of the charitable foundation to all right, okay. Now we're gonna have to read it because I'm gonna misquote this like an idiot. So essentially, they named them. Here we go. The Commission's action arose complaints across several years that it was not clear if the activities of Hope Not Hate Limited, a separate non-charitable organisation, were connected to and endorsed by the charity. So there was Hope Not Hate Limited, which is a non-charitable organisation that deals with is an anti-fascist watchdog. That's the Hope Not Hate we're talking about. And there is also the Hope Not Hate charity. Right? It was about names. And I think one might actually be related to the other, but they're distinguishable legal entities. And so the regulator said, hang on a minute, we need to you can't have them the same. They need to be, they need to be a bit different so that one person doesn't go to one thinking it's something else for the sake of, consumer or customer, or however you would describe the end target audience, whether they're going to one or the other. It needs to be distinguishable, right? That's the investigation he's talking about, which, by the way, is concluded. Everything's fine. Problem solved. He's trying to say that this headline here, follow me on this logic right now, guys, because we're going on a journey right now. Paul Dunbar is claiming that this headline by Searchlight magazine, Far-Right Order sends rape threats to an anti-racist family, can't be taken as serious or credible at all because Hope Not Hate, a separate company, had a name similar to the charity Hope Not Hate and had to change it. That's it. That's the investigation he's saying that they lose all credibility for. Thus far, he is right, and he definitely didn't send those rape threats, and that headline doesn't count because another anti-fascist watchdog that isn't Searchlight magazine had a dispute about a name with a regulator. Now, obviously, I didn't get a chance to do this in real time, which does suck, obviously. And, I sort of have to address certain points at a time, but I'm only one person. And so, which is why moving forward, I think that, you know, I'm going to be moving on to sort of like more video essay style things, I think, so that I can do more of this and breaking stuff down rather than, you know, actually, because like that conversation there, I mean, I'm grateful it didn't happen on a you know, like some mad, crazy large platform, or whatever. And then that was the sort of, you know, because it becomes ubiquitous, doesn't it? I'm glad that I've got a chance to be able to go through and look at some of these facts and push them out properly to counter that narrative that, it's not even a narrative, it's just lies, just making things up for the sake of making things up. Let's get back to this though. So as we were saying before, you were like, you were having questions about some of the reporting in Searchlight, right? Specifically about you and how you're the victim of it. And all of that, to be fair, actually spawned from what I was trying to say was why it would be incredibly concerning for parents who appears in headlines just like that, you know, doing the I said it wrong there. Why it would be, what I was trying to say was why it would be concerning for parents to see an individual who appears in headlines like that, to then see them across the road from the school where their children are recording their children. That's what I was trying to say there. I'll go back to who appears in headlines just like that, you know, doing the weird things that you're doing. I mean, you appeared in Byline Times for your involvement in the XXX channel.
Incredible fucking source. What a bunch of monks. You sent a fucking, you sent a journalist into.
I'm really sorry. I should be doing constant trigger warnings and things, but yeah, you are going to hear, you know, sort of ableist slurs and stuff. He uses that one again, and he does use a racial slur as well. I'm pre-warning you. It's, you know, these aren't my words or my actions or anything that I condone or agree with. I just want to make that clear that this channel stands against that, and what we're actively doing is exposing this so that we can display the rhetoric in all of its true nature under the honest light of day, and, you know, just making sure that we're all above board and we're not cutting things out so that we can't be accused of removing the context or chopping and changing things. So yeah, you are going to hear that. Also, I do in a bit lose my shit, and I call him things like freak or something like that. I may even call him thicker than an elephant's foreskin, and I know I shouldn't, and I know that some of you are going to laugh at that as well and be like, aha, because it is kind of funny, but it isn't really when you think about it. I do need to stop, which is again why I'm going to do some more video essay style content on top of the regular stuff that we do. I'm going to start, you know, especially when I'm addressing, you know, individuals and things, like in a manner like this, rather than just being constantly back and forth with them. I'm just going to create the content and then put it out there, and if it needs updating, it needs updating. If not, then not. But I apologize for anyone that may have upset, and yes, you are going to hear it again. But let's skip back, and yes, you probably will hear that word again specifically, but let's skip back because he said doing the weird things that you're doing. I mean, you appeared in Byline Times for your involvement in the XXX channel.
Incredible fucking source.
And then we heard it, so I'm just going to skip over the slur now, so we don't need to. But yeah, another incredible source, he says sarcastically. So now he said that Hope Not Hate and not a credible source because their name was similar to a charity's name, and they had to change it with regards to the regulations set by the regulator. That was it. He tried to frame it and lie as an investigation into dodgy dealings, as he says vaguely, and collusions with the government, and the government are investigating them for the dealings with the government. That's right, the government are investigating them for the dealings with the government. If it doesn't make sense, it's because it's a lie. It doesn't make sense. He's also trying to say that by proxy, Searchlight magazine must also be guilty of those crimes that Hope Not Hate didn't commit, and therefore, you know, he can escape their judgment on him when they wrote that report, the headlines and things. And now he's saying that Byline Times are just trying to paint a narrative, I guess. You know, they're not real journalists and things. It's interesting, isn't it? All of these headlines from these different sources, they're all saying much the same things. And DP says it's all them, not him. Imagine that. Starting to see a pattern here.
Our Discord, you didn't get much, did you?
So I sent a journalist in there. You think
I don't give a shit about what you and your.
There you go. Listen to that.
Did you?
So
you sent a fucking. So you sent a journalist into our Discord. You didn't get.
I didn't send any journalist into any Discord.
I'm not part of Hope Not Hate or Searchlight or Byline Times magazine. What is he talking about? You sent a journalist into our Discord and you didn't get much. I didn't send anyone into your Discord. That is not true at all. I don't work with Byline, like, for obvious reasons. This is obviously stupid and not real, obviously just shit. And it's just trying to discredit these people again by sort of associate. Well, you're just a YouTuber. You sent them in. You did X, Y, and Z. They look at some of the work I do, and I guess maybe that's a compliment. They think it's of a sort of journalistic standard, but I can tell you categorically, I am not a journalist. I do not work for any of these people. It's like I don't get how and why it lowers my IQ. I can't even speak at the sheer like audacity of this level of stupidity. I'll say it because it is. It's not just ignorant. He's not just an ignorant person. He's a stupid person. And I know that would be seen as a sort of like a slur or an ad hominem or a personal attack or however you want to phrase it. And yeah, all right, I'll own that if it's that. But the reason I stand by that is because the way that we define stupid is ignorance, isn't it? Like if you don't know something, you're ignorant, right? But if you're willfully ignorant and you're intentionally keeping yourself in the dark, ignoring one set of evidence in favor of not even evidence, just anything that backs up what your already pre-made worldview is, then you are stupid. You're not even stupid. You're stupid with two O's. I'm making a new word and I'm defining it myself. It's willfully ignorant. Like we're all ignorant. I'm like every other human, including Einstein. You think of any of the great thinkers that have ever lived. We all share something in common, and all of us are at the same level in the sense that we know less than we know, because there is so much to know in the universe and in the world and in everything else that we couldn't possibly know it all, or even a majority of stuff and things. We're all ignorant of everything, but the reason we're not all stupid is because we're not keeping ourselves in the dark. And when new information presents itself, you learn it. You try and you soak it up, you digest it, and you incorporate new facts into your worldview and things. Like if right now somebody comes up to me and says that, oh my God, turns out there was some Lex Luthor style villain who's been, pumping CO2 into the atmosphere and stuff for ages with this super giant volcano that he's harvested, like some sort of like comic book style like thing. And then, climate change isn't actually man driven. It's not men driven. It's man driven by this one dude, and we can stop it. Everything's back to normal. We can carry on. I'll be like, yeah, Sam, burn as much petrol as you want if it ain't affecting us. But the science doesn't say that. You know what I mean? When new information presents itself, what I'm trying to say is you need to be able to digest it and bring it in. And if you can't, then, oh God, then you're stupid. This is the Byline Times. This is the journalism that he was shrugging off that says that he didn't get too much. This isn't even about him or his Discord. This is about Scott Chesterman, who is another far-right auditor, far-right vlogger. He's Bear Britain Audits is his online name. And this is about him and his Discord and the criminal past of these people and, that claim to be protecting women and children. Let's skip to the bit that's specific about, like, God. So, discussions also include far-right talking points, such as the Great Replacement theory, which are the same talking points he was trying to hit me with before to justify why he was recording outside of the school, by the way. But there were also posts, it says here, on how to buy semi-automatic rifles. Ooh. How to buy semi-automatic rifles. They didn't get much. The server also had a channel named XXX Rated Adult, where Chesterman's occasional collaborator and fellow auditor, DP Audits, that's Paul Dunbar, who was recently revealed to have sent rape threats to a pro-refugee campaigner, posted pornographic images as well as members of the channel who sought to objectify and degrade women, tacitly and in some cases outright endorsed by Chesterman as moderator of the server. So he doesn't like this reporting either. These guys can't be taken seriously because, they're reporting on him and his actions. He thinks he's the victim of these reporters. No, DP, you are a victim, I guess, in some way you could spin it, of your own actions.
But yeah, you won't be surprised to learn that I don't have the power and authority to just send Byline Times reporters into fucking Discords and shit. And I thought that was important. And I know it seems tangential to do that, but obviously the Byline Times were mentioned, and I don't think we actually got a chance to visit that conversation in this debate fully and in depth. So there you go, there's the details.
Another incredible fucking source. What a bunch of monks. You sent a fucking sent a journalist into our Discord. You didn't get much, did you?
So I sent a journalist in there. You think
I don't give a shit about what you and your little magazines think about my
just said I did. They're not my magazines. What are you on about?
I don't give a no. I give a shit about them lying and fabricating in nasty attacks because what they're trying to do, like you are, you're hoping that someone harms me in the street. Yeah, and you.
Right. That is absolutely not the case whatsoever. That is another lie, and nothing's been fabricated, as he says. And if any of these articles, all of these articles from these various sources, because there are many, this isn't not just about the ones we're discussing, but he's also saying that the Leicestershire Gazette, he said on panel before, that's a disreputable rag of a paper. So I'm just going to make a list of papers that he says are rags, right? Leicestershire Gazette, Hope Not Hate, Searchlight. What other publications were there? The Byline Times, and I'm almost certain there was another one, but we'll work with those four for now. He says they're all rags. Now, what they all have in common, they've all run a story that involved him. And of course, they're all lying, and I guess they're conspiring. The Canary, that was it. You're absolutely right. Yes, the Canary. He said that about them too. Thank you very much for that in chat. Yeah. Like all of these people, they've done stories on him, and then he's come out and been like, "Oh, they're all terrible. I'm going to protest this reporter," which he didn't, by the way, because obviously that's a stupid move and it would look terrible. But it's ridiculous. If any of these articles were false, all of these like outlets that he's saying, and the mainstream media in general, and all that, they're all under Ofcom. You know, you can if they're false, you can literally have it redacted. You can write letters or emails, or however it works to Ofcom. It's actually surprisingly quite easy. To be fair, it's from I'm just looking it up now. It's just an email. You just fill out some forms. That's it. That's how you start the process. There are ombudsmen and everything else in case they don't. Do you know what I mean? There are loads of things that you can do. But instead, he chooses to say that they're all disreputable. Everything they say are lies. I'm the victim. Where. Now people want to hurt me, or you're trying to ensure that people hurt me. Now, I want to analyse that specific statement again. Paul Dunn, he's not the only one to have said it either. When AY Audit said it as well, I had a chat with him about it, and he was like, "Oh, you're causing my family to feel alarmed, distressed, and harassed." And no, if me reporting on your actions and the things that you say, the sentiments that you're putting out there, intentionally and obviously doing so, if me doing that, or anyone, if Searchlight, if Hope Not Hate, if people reporting on your racist activities on the internet causes you and your family so much stress and you know, like all this terrible things to occur, then perhaps maybe look at your actions. Maybe look at the racist content that you put online. Maybe look at the fact that you're outside of schools recording. This man is saying that, like, do you know what's really putting me in danger is the fact that I'm not the fact that I'm outside of a school recording strangers' children and posting them on the internet. No, it's the fact that somebody has taken that recording and is talking about it. All of his excuses are paper thin. And it's not just him, it's all of them. AY, all these individuals. I would recommend that if you're feeling like, you know, that you are somehow the victim or, you know, the target of your own actions, don't do those actions. So I don't know, has anyone ever had that sort of like dad thing where someone's like, "Oh, this really hurts if I like do this like really weird twist or whatever." Well, don't fucking do it then. It's similar to that, except this is actually genuine advice. Like if it's causing you so much stress as you claim that it does, and that you think that everyone's out to get you, that he said that I was sending in journalists. He's implying that I'm part of a broader conspiracy. This channel with like 800 fucking subscribers is like part of a broader conspiracy to make him look so bad that somebody will randomly attack him. You can't make it up, but he did. There you go.
And here's another thing as well. This is absolutely fantastic. So if people reporting on auditors upsets auditors, maybe auditors should consider how their reporting, in quotes, hurts others. It's an absolutely fantastic point. Let's carry on with this.
And you don't give a shit about it. I'm with my daughter and someone harms me. You soon push the narrative there.
Okay, let's stop it immediately. You don't care if your daughter's in harm's way. You're a grown adult daughter. And yes, I do, actually. I care for everyone. I'll say it. It sounds namsy-pamsy. I do care for everyone, even when you were being attacked. Although I do throw that in your face a little bit here because I'm angry. That made me go, I don't like it. It's not nice. I don't like the idea that people get hurt and stuff. But you're trying to infantize your daughter as well, which is strange. But you're also giving all this consideration to your child, but none to the children who you are filming and broadcasting on the internet. Their uniforms are visible. Their school is visible. Do you know what happened straight after DP did this? And I'm not saying it's connected. I'm just saying that this is the environment that's being created, right? Do you know what happened after DP went and filmed that school and moaned about how many brown and black people there were there? Children, sorry. I say people. They are people, of course, but kids at school in their safe space. Do you know what happened? There was a bomb threat sent to a school of 450 kids. It was a Muslim school, right, in the UK. Or had, I can't, do you know what? I'm maybe even misquoting it, but it was a targeted bomb threat against a majority Muslim school. Because now it's acceptable to just exploit them. It's acceptable to just weaponize them. And you're using them as pawns in your political, ideological bullshit, in your grift, in your quest to get money the nastiest way possible off this already pre-existing audience. That's because auditors, like I said, they've been doing it before. He's just jumped on, these guys, they can just jump on the scene. It's easy to repeat and replicate. You just got to be a bit racist, get arrested a couple times. Jobs are good and get it on camera, upload it. And then that whole audience there who are into it, they're not into it for the individuals. They're into it for the concept. They feel comfortable, these people, when someone else is finally saying the slurs and things that they wanted to say. These guys are pushing the Overton window so that the audience could jump in, and it's just awful. Just awful.
Though you don't give a shit, so don't act righteous to me, Lewis.
So what you're saying
don't
is
act righteous to me. You don't give a shit. If I got harmed in front of my kid, you'd probably laugh at me like you laughed at Wesley Winter. That's what you'd do. You
never laughed at Wesley Winter. I laughed at, I think, you or someone else. Me and my dad were laughing at the fact that it was framed as an attempted murder. He got his shit kicked in. He got attacked, and it's terrible. It's awful. But he travelled to another country to create the same disinformation and, frankly, almost propaganda bullshit that you make, and then found himself on the wrong end of an attack. And it was awful. He was attacked. Terrible things should never have happened. We were giggling because of what you've been doing, like this whole debate, is inflaming things. You exaggerate things. You try to sensationalize them to make them worse. What is instead an auditor goes to another country to do some auditing, and then the people there attacked him. Instead of it being that, it's an attempted murder by the far left. You've got absolutely no idea. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what is going on here? Like, they live in this fantasy world, and then we laughed at it. Do you know what he did? Do you know what he did when I laughed at the idea of him exaggerating things into nothingness? He exaggerated that and was trying to describe it essentially in, more or less as like a violent laugh, and that I was inciting yet more violence because I giggled at his framing. Like, everything to them is like they will make mountains out of molehills, but when it comes to their own mountain of bullshit, they will shrink that down faster than the dude from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
You'd laugh like you laughed at Wesley Winter, because really you find it funny because you're a typical lefty and you like the violence towards the right. I wouldn't want violence.
Yeah, again, that isn't a typical lefty thing. He says lefty here, and then he'll say far left and stuff as well. I obviously, I'm quite, for obvious reasons, it's a bit on the nose. He's definitely a far right figure who says far right things. So I, for that reason, say that he is, a figure of the far right. But he doesn't use those labels in the way that the rest of us use those labels. He doesn't look at these like separate ideologies existing within a same sort of like space because they're, their ideologies. They're very similar. So they exist on like the political compass. You can navigate your way through it. You can see all these different ideologies everywhere. And whether you're far left or far right depends on, the level of authoritarianism, because it's a scale, but it's also like, how big your government is essentially and their role in regulating private sector, if any, you know, in terms of like left and right and how the economy works and things. It's a spectrum that if you was to say that to him and you use those words, he wouldn't have a fucking clue what you were on about, because he thinks they're slurs. He thinks that lefty, you know, far right, right wing, left wing, he thinks that they're all just like good guy, bad guy. And from my perspective, you're bad guy, so you're team red, I'm team blue. There's no nuance in it. There's no understanding of the ideologies, and I'm certainly not like a major in political like ideologies or anything degree. I don't even know what that degree would be called. I don't know. I haven't, you know, I don't study politics per se. Not even I say per se. I don't at all. I'm just, you know, someone that has Google, and I understood what the political compass was. I took a test one time just because I was curious. These people don't do that, and they just use them as slurs. They don't understand the basic meanings of a lot of things that they say.
I wouldn't want someone to harm you. I just think you're naive and you're an idiot. That's it.
Paul, you're going off on a rant and talking to yourself. So let's address the few things that you said in that sentence there while you were scalloping. So the Wesley went. In fact, let's go back a little bit further. Then. So one of the early things you're saying about like Searchlight and all that stuff. So they're lying about you. Searchlight magazine are lying about you. Hope Not Hate are lying about you. The Byline Times are completely separate publications.
No, I sent that email. I've just said to you. Where am I saying they lied? I've said the email. The email was real. Yeah. But what I'm saying they're lying on is they're not showing any of the context. All they're doing is showing what they want to show to make me look.
Did you catch that? Times a completely separate publication.
No, I sent that email. I've just said to you. Where am I saying they lied? I've said the email. The email was real. Yeah. But what I'm saying they're lying on is they're not showing any.
So he spent time saying, I didn't send threats. I did send the email. And what was in that email?
Any of the context. All they're doing is showing what they want to show to make me look like the worst person in the world, but showing no context and showing that because I was actually quite affected by this troll for it was going on for ages. Yeah, it actually really got to me. Yeah, so I snapped, and out of bad taste, I sent a bad email. Yes, it's something that we deal with as creators. I've learned from it. I've moved forward.
Out of bad taste, I sent a bad email. He can't even bring himself to say the word. He can't admit what he's done. He can't actively say, yeah, you know what? I said this thing and that was bad. And it's fine because you know what? I get so frustrated with this guy in this point. Like I say, I've said a couple of things that, hands up, I shouldn't have done that. It's really easy. And then you move on. Like, it's not a thing. It's not a thing. It's just like, yeah, I don't understand why he cannot, for the life of him, accept the reality of what he's done. And it is objectively true. We've all seen the email. I've showed it here. I've showed it on other streams. It's been published in papers, in Searchlight magazine. Yeah, context. He's like, no. If you knew that they were saying mean things to me, then you would understand. Anyone would send rape threats about this man's daughters, whose age remains unknown. Like, they could have been kids. Like, they could have been grown-ups. Could have been kids. He has no idea. And he thinks that no matter how much context you apply to it, like, he thinks that applying context to this, that somehow it'll get him out of the reality of the situation. But it doesn't.
Forward
no,
it
isn't.
It's these things that happen. You like to misconstrue it and push, or you're desperate to use it because you can't attack my opinions. We can't have a political debate on your thing because you don't like it because you're far left and you kick me off. That's what it is. So you're just getting little.
So I've gone from lefty to far left. And again, these are just slurs to him. He doesn't actually know what these words mean.
Things to do this to attack moment. Ad hominem attacks. That's what you're doing.
Right. It's not I don't think I've done any ad hominem or any ad personam attacks at the moment in this debate yet. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I don't think I have yet. I do get there eventually. I do, say some things to him. And again, like I say, there's a lot of history behind that, but no justifying what I said. It was wrong. It just, it is what it is. Ad hominem at all, not even remotely. Also, when it comes to like why we can't debate properly on any subjects, not only because you don't know what the basic foundations of the phrases and words and things that you're saying are, but also that you can't actually allow the other person to speak for any more than 30 or 40 seconds before you jump in and then gish gallop.
Bro, you spoke about me for a year.
Did you see? I love the way he keeps doing that.
Like, I wasn't even trying to set him up. I wasn't even trying to set him up with that then, where and he just falls into it, where I'm like, trouble is, you only let me talk for like, say, 30, 40 seconds, and then you go on this mad rant, and then before I can even finish the sentence, he jumps in to prove me right.
Blocks me on your channels. What are you going on about? You talk about us constantly and block us.
Just to prove my... Again, I'm under no obligation to have you do this on my platform. Not at all. You don't answer to any of the real stuff. We can never get properly engaged in a conversation because you don't know most of what it is that you're saying. He thinks what he chunters is debate. Do you know what as well? Because like I put debate on the thingy and I was gonna maybe go for confronted or something, and I was really told because this isn't a debate. This isn't like, there is no debate in these people. What I was hoping to do is, now that he's followed me on that stream, you know, to continue a conversation that's probably started years ago, to be honest. But you know, to like, yeah, now that he's following me on that stream, I'm sort of thinking like, well, I'm gonna have to say something. But like, yeah, it's just a wild situation, isn't it? None of what he's saying is debate, and none of what he's doing is in good faith, because that's what it takes to have that debate, is to have a good faith side of it. At least one side, well, sorry, at least both of you is in good faith. At least believe the things that you're saying and not just making them up on the spot. Thank you so much, Michael. That is so very kind of you. I really, really appreciate it. Cheers. Big up to you, man. The smelly lefties are growing every day, and eventually we'll take over. I don't know what it is that we're taking over, and I encourage everyone to stay in their own homes. I don't like people, but we'll figure it out. We'll work it out. It's fine. Cheers, Michael. My point, just to prove my point, can you repeat back what I just said?
Yeah, you don't allow any of us me to talk. This is why we can't debate on panels, but it's just projection. You don't like what I'm saying, so you just start saying all this bullshit. What about Searchlight magazine and that? Not showing the other context when I've reached out to them. If they're proper journalists, why are they not showing that, Jay?
Right. Okay. So here's the thing. Right. Are you ready for this? Are you going to allow me to finish this thing that I explained to you? Because you might learn something here. So here's the story, right? So the story that right there is the start of me getting frustrated because I'm now having to repeat myself a bit. Like, you might learn something here. I'm like, oh, this is the start of the end for me. This is where it gets a bit funky. It is that somebody, a far right activist who claims that, you know, he's out there to protect women and children. In this very chat, you said that you're overly protective of women and children. And he did. He put it in writing. I do have a screenshot. It's on my tablet. I don't know if it's worth the effort. I mean, trust me, bro. I guess I could post it at some point. But I'll have to. But anyways, he said the phrase, I am, and I think he agrees that he said this as well. That we were talking about. I was like, look, you know, as a guy that's like, you know, protecting women and kids. I'm paraphrasing. I may not use these exact words, but you know, as a guy that, you know, protects women and kids, like, how are you reconciling that? Like, you know, you do say that you protect women and kids and stuff. So what have you got to say to these parents whose kids you were exploiting? I think that was the tone of the conversation we're having in the chat, and his response was, it was this, yeah. And yet, very chat, you said that you're overly protective of women and children, and yet you said
no. But I've never ran my mouth about that, by the way. FYI, I'm not one of these people who goes around women and fucking children. I don't do that, but FYI.
Paul, you wrote in the chat before that you're, if anything, overprotective.
No, in my personal life, but I don't need to tell everybody that. Do you know?
It's like, I don't need to tell anybody that, but you're also ignoring the fact that you wrote it in the chat. It's written in the chat. What are you talking about? You're like, I don't go out of my way to tell anyone. You literally did. You did that.
You know what I mean?
But you told us that tonight. You told us that tonight in this chat, right? You said that before I even mentioned this bit, right? You did say that. So this is why. So can you start to understand why that, you know, a far right campaigner and an anti-fascist watchdog, the far right campaigner goes out and says that, you know, says horrible rape threats to a person, and then of course they're going to be like, oh shit, look at this public figure. The other person isn't a public figure. Like you say, they're part of a troll group. They're just anti-racist people that are just trolling you for the most part. And what they said was disgusting and vile. But the reality is they're not purporting themselves as a public figure in the wider space as being overly protective of women and kids.
And for the
so
same
you
reason,
don't like my content, it's okay. Oh, yeah, I get it.
No, what? Right, I literally.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh, he tries, doesn't he? Bless him. He was like, "Oh, so you just don't like my content?" No. God. God damn it. Oh. I tried in really simple terms to explain that he's the public figure there. He's the public interest, right? And they're covering public interest stories, specifically, you know, reporting on far right figures and stuff. He is the far right figure. The other person is not even a public figure. They're just a troll that he could have blocked, you know, deleted, ignored. Like he could have reported to the police if it was that bad. He could have done anything, but no. Instead, he chose to send them rape threats. Like, and that's why it became a news story. And he's seems to be outwardly not understanding that. I think deep down he does, but he's obviously projecting this image that he doesn't get it. Because of course, if he did understand it and said that he understood it, then well, I guess that would mean he understands it. You know what I mean? And people he'd have nothing to argue against. His whole thing hinges on the idea that, oh, it's not that bad, but it is. It is that bad. Also, I did that thing again where I skipped around. Fuck.
And I've never told anyone to do so. I said I don't need it because I do it all.
Neither have I. That before that you're, if anything, overprotective.
No, in my personal life, but I don't need to tell everybody that.
Right,
do you know what I mean?
But you told us that tonight. You told us that tonight in this chat, right? You said that before I even mentioned this bit, right? You did say that. So this is why. So can you start to understand why that, you know, a far right campaigner and an anti-fascist watchdog, the far right campaigner goes out and says that, you know, says horrible rape threats to a person, and then of course they're going to be like, oh shit, look at this public figure. The other person isn't a public figure. Like you say, they're part of a troll group. They're just anti-racist people that are just trolling you for the most part. And what they said was disgusting and vile. But the reality is they're not purporting themselves as a public figure in the wider space as being overly protective of women and kids. And for the same reason...
you don't like my content, it's okay. Oh, yeah, I get it.
No.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
What? Right. I literally just explained it to you in plain English, and you just said something completely different that I didn't say. When did I say it's because I don't like your content? When did I say that just then?
I don't know. It just seems like you like to try and justify...
You don't. I don't know. It's just, you know, I made it up. Now let me say something else that isn't related to what I'm saying.
No, you don't know, or you just made it up.
There you go. That's it. He's like, you're trying to justify the fact that I'm getting trolled. No, Paul. I'm critiquing the fact that you're justifying that you sent rape threats on the basis that you were trolled to a man's kids. Stop. Just stop. Oh my God.
That's all right because you're.
I'm going to say it's pathetic, isn't it? It's genuinely. This is what he calls like a sort of spirited political conversation or something. He thinks this is. Like, he has no idea what this is. He has no idea how he's making himself seem. He has no idea the projection that he's doing, the self-reporting that he's doing right now. Like, if I could write 1,000 different stories about DP in 1,000 different ways, and it would never report on him as much as he reports on himself, ever.
It's just you, innit? Don't worry about
that. When did I justify you getting trolled?
No, I know you do. I know you enjoy it. I can tell.
But no, when did I just...
He's like, I can tell. I can sense it. I feel it. And that's what it all boils down to. He has a feeling. You can't articulate it. So he just acts an ob, I guess. Just acts out on it. Because feelings are worth more than facts, aren't they? Justify that. No, you made the claim.
Nothing in your sad little loser life in your caravan.
Listen, bro, I don't have a sad little loser life. According to you, I'm the only person that promotes Searchlight, which means I've done a fucking good job because they're massive, mate. Not only that, but I'm also sending undercover journalists into... These guys think I'm some really well-accomplished, multi-organizational journalist reporter person who's coordinating all of these conspiracies and targeted attacks on them, and yet at the same time I'm just a boring dude that lives in a caravan. Like, which is it? Like, which is it?
All you got to do is
when
talk
you
about
say
people like me all day.
now that's what's
I mean, you got our posts on the wall. You throw darts at it, lad.
Oh, and by the way, just to point out some of the projection. Now, every single accusation that he makes of me is a confession. He is literally making ad hominem attacks about my home now and stuff. And bearing in mind, this thing started. Maybe this was some extra context. This started, I think it was what, an hour or so before this stream. He did a post where he was talking about my fiance, and I've been doing an incredibly good job of keeping a tight lid on that for now. You know what I mean? But and he did it in the chat as well before he jumped on there. If you don't know, then you know this person that was in my life sadly isn't anymore because they passed away, and it was terrible. It was tragic. It was the single biggest trauma that's ever happened in my life ever, and these people weaponize it because because I go, oh well, hang on a minute, you're racist, and then they go, wait a second, let's lie about deceased loved ones and things like that because they haven't got anything else to go off on. It's properly fucking wild stuff, like it's properly, some of the attacks are like below, like they're not just below the belt, they're like they're properly like outrageous, crazy, ludicrous, made up lies that are exclusively engineered to draw as much psychological harm on another individual as possible. In this case it's me, sometimes it's everyone else. Shit, these guys are nuts, man. See, Paul, also as well, you're literally like one of like a dozen or so, like you're not even in the top 3 most talked about individuals. I talk about Tommy Robinson more than you, Nigel Farage more than you.
No,
they all say it. AY Audit says, you talk about me more than anyone. Who else was it now? Mr. In Between News, auditor adjacent, bootlicking type guy. He says, like, oh, he's obsessed with me. He's obsessed with me. And then DP says it as well. You're obsessed with me. And then what they do when I call them all out on it, they change it. So they go, oh, okay, you're obsessed with us. It's an us thing. Like, I think he'll do that in a second. But yeah. You're one of the
You do Auditor Corner every day, bro. What you going on?
I don't do Auditor Corner every day. He does auditing every day. Like he literally does auditing every day and posts videos every day. Like we're not on the same level like that. Yeah, again, this is another thing where like, because he's hyper online, like a lot more so than I am. And you've got to be to be the racist extraordinaire creator that he is. He puts in a lot of hours and stuff, but what he's doing is he's projecting, and he's, every accusation is a confession. You do Auditor Corner every day. Auditor Corner is one of the segments that I do on my show, which, by the way, is a growing number of segments, growing all the time. We've got Reform TV, we've got Headline Rundown, which kind of dominates most of the show all of the time, to be fair, because there's a lot of shit that do be going on. We've got Burke Alert, where we look at the headlines, but the far right sort of things. We've got Audit Corner, where we specifically look at auditors, and that is, it's like modular. I sometimes have it in, I sometimes don't. And I certainly don't even stream every day, let alone do that particular segment every day. It's, again, every confession, every accusation is a confession.
Going on about I don't every day. We all sit there laughing at you, especially when you're getting triggered.
I haven't, Paul, I don't stream every day. You're just making up lies.
Most days, you do.
No, I don't stream most days. I don't.
With your fake ass memberships and that.
You're all fake. You're all fake, you fake ass members. What a weird. You literally cannot have fraudulent members. I don't think that's not a real thing, is it? You can't buy that shit. That's like from YouTube. Like I know that views and subs can be different, I think, and then like you can buy subs and views, which, by the way, is something that this individual has been accused of in the past, and they brought receipts for it, and it looks very convincing. But yeah, like I think. So maybe another accusation is a confession thing again there, but like, what the fuck does that even mean with your fake members? Like, no, they're literally real. They're real people. Like, look, we've got some really nice, cool, like, amazing, cool folk, and some give them away and stuff as well. It's like, it's awesome. Like, fake. It's so fucking stupid. And this is where it now starts to become about me and him, not about the ideas now. He's descending it. He's done with that. He's not wanting to talk about the ideas. He's lost all ground on the fact that these outlets that report on him are they're not credible.
He's not able to defend that anymore, so he's moving right on from it. He's not able to say that I'm orchestrating some sort of like, you know, journalist going in there. So he moves on from that to all of it. He just says it, moves on, says it, moves on. And now he's run out of areas to move on from in the sort of political or ideological or auditing sphere of conversation. And he's instead loading us directly into a barrel and shooting it right at our own personalities, which is what this is now. This is where it's going to go.
Oh, look how many members I've got. Nah, loads of them people in there are my subscribers. They don't like their memberships. You're just pushing them on people. Fake ass motherfucker.
I don't push.
I love how you called everyone great.
Yeah, I don't push members on anyone. I really don't. It's yeah, but I mean, anyways. But again, that's not. I'm not trying to highlight the content because I'm defensive about something I don't do. I don't care that he said it. I'm just pointing out. I want to, you know, another one again of like this weird. Now it's descended into this petty thing. Like it's
grifters, and you're on the grift as well. Mad how you love the grift.
See, this is the thing. You don't know what grifting means, do you? What does grifting mean, Paul? There's a question he will not answer because he doesn't actually know. He doesn't know the definitions of any of the words he says. He's heard other people use them. And like a parrot, he injects them in what he thinks is the right situation. That's it. He's just good at parroting. He doesn't know what these words mean.
Bro, I've never asked for any donation, and I've never told anyone to do so. I said I don't need it because I do it all at ad revenue, which takes time, money.
Instead, what you do to earn money is you go to children's schools, record them, post them on the internet, and moan about how many black ones there are, and then extract financial gain from that.
And grief off idiots like you. So that's not a grift. But what you're more of a grifter. Then, so look, get your memberships in, guys. Get your memberships in, guys.
See, and this is the thing. You know where the right take what you do and then they apply it back to you. So in the past, I have been guilty of doing that thing where we were giggling about the response of DP when somebody else puts on his toes. So he was being really quite abusive to someone, and then when they were like, "Listen, you know, we can meet in public about this if you like," he's like, "Oh no, I'm only 5'7," and then I started doing that voice, and what he's doing is he's repeating that back. That's the first time you'll have heard him ever doing that, and it's this weird thing. You know how like we have our chants, like, you know, like whose streets are streets type thing, and they just steal it. Like it's really freaking weird, man. It's super weird. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. Remember, if you don't do this, guys, I'm going to do something outrageous. I'm joking. There's no pressure. Do your thing. It doesn't matter. But I really appreciate the support. It means a lot to me as a person. So yeah, I thank you so much. But yeah, like I want to. So the definition of grifting for anyone that's sort of like interested in, like the Cambridge Dictionary says something along the lines of the activity of getting money dishonestly by tricking people. That's what he does. He's, you know, he's lying about like, you know, stats and figures and things. He's now, you know, going out and exploiting. He actively in his streams will, I've seen this to be the case where he goes to some places and tries to avoid filming the women and kids so he can keep up with this idea that only men are coming over and only, you know, claiming asylum and only men are in these facilities and things. Like he is as dishonest as the day is long. And you've heard that from the conversation that we've had here. And that's how he earns his money. That's what makes it a grift, right? To obtain money or property or whatever, like, you know, like it's through the confidence game, like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's almost like petty swindling, if you will. It's just like, blag, send us some dough. You don't even have to say send us some money. You create this this machine, this channel, as it is, that happens to generate money based on the lies that you tell. That's still grifting. You don't even have to go begging. Like grifting isn't begging. It doesn't work like that. Do you know what's really funny? That's the same voice I do about you when you say you're only 5'7" and everyone's punching you in the face and you're crying on the floor. But we go back to the point where you were? No, that wasn't needed. That was a bit of a scumbag trick. I was frustrated and tired, and yeah, no excuses. I'm not trying to excuse it. It was the wrong thing to have said and done. I said it and I'm moving on from it, but I will acknowledge that I do regret saying that. Where you were saying I was grifting. So what does grifting mean?
You're a grifter.
You don't know what that word means.
You're chasing
Fine.
off the auditors.
Fine.
All you've got to talk
does
about, you do
grifting mean?
Auditor Corner every day. The only reason your numbers go up is when Auditors Corners comes off. All of the people that I speak to just skip to that bit to see what shit you're chatting all the time.
So what he's saying is that if he perceives that that's a more popular segment of my show, that still doesn't mean that I'm grifting. He doesn't know what these words mean. And he's like, you're clout chasing off of us. It's like, no. See, every avenue of criticism that comes across him, whether it's me talking about him on a really tiny channel, whether it's larger channels talking about him, like just gone viral or something like that, whether it's criticism that comes from his association with DJE Media and stuff. I've seen a lot of like his own audience talking about that he was drinking with him in a pub and stuff. And, you know, all of these various places where he gets criticism from, he cannot ever acknowledge that maybe, just maybe, there's something in it. And it's not even just like people online. There's also like genuine reporters that make this stuff, that talk about it. But still, he persists with the lies. It's not him, it's everybody else. Everybody's the problem, not me.
That's where half your views come from.
Yeah, so when
like, you
when,
can hate all you like, but you thrive on us. You're welcome, Jay.
my audience isn't your audience. That's a fact. Like, I get the odd, you know, troll in here, and we've had a couple in, but my audience is my own. We don't have. It's taken me a while to break out of it, because I started off like the only people that knew me online that were subscribing to my channel were the far right vloggers and stuff, because I was appearing in panel shows as like a sort of left wing voice, arguing against some of the ideas that they were putting out there. You know, just the basics of stuff. I mean, they were calling people savages and things. And so I was listening, and I was like, you know, my dad was involved in these groups and things as well. He was also doing the same thing. And then I saw my dad on there, and I heard some of the points that were being made by some of these people. I thought, you know what, I think I'm going to try it myself. So I started there, essentially, on YouTube, you could say, on the Stochastic Clubhouse itself, on Jamie's Society X. And then I migrated from there over to my own channel, because, you know, once I stated that I'm not doing this anymore, this is crazy. And then there was like that whole incident with my dad and everything else afterwards. And so we were like, right, you know, let's make our own channels and stuff. And then eventually my dad had his, we had mine. I thought, oh, do you know what, let's just, you know, morph these into one channel, you know, and we'll work off of my one if you want. It saves both of us paying for premium on YouTube and stuff. We'll just share the account with a couple of folks. And he really liked that idea. It was really cool. And it's been absolutely awesome since. The big problem that, like, with people like DP trying to do this thing where he's like, oh, you're just clout chasing, you're doing it. No, don't undermine any of the hard work that I and the ACOB family have been doing. We have been like endlessly, tirelessly behind the scenes building this channel and having a whole entirely new audience. It's difficult to do so when your algorithm goes, like, when far righters are going for stuff, they go, oh, look, other far righters like this content. And then I just had a chat full of trolls. It's taken quite a while to establish the community that we have, and I'm proud of it. You know what I mean? This is nothing to do with you. This is to do with the hard work that I did, the hard work that my dad did, and then the endless amounts of hard work that I'm incredibly appreciative of from the ACOB family, and which is growing all of the time. You know, it's absolutely amazing. Don't underdo it. Right, so what I do is for anyone listening, I actually make anti-racist content, and you just happen to be a racist, Paul. That's nothing to be proud of. You're like,
I'm racist in your opinion. In your opinion.
No, by the definition, you're definitionally racist. See, this is the thing now. Not only do you not know what the definition of grifter is, but you don't actively know what the definition of racism is.
Bro, everything's racist to someone like you, bruh. You know the sort of guy would call it.
Yeah, bruh. For a racist person, he doesn't, you know, why isn't he talking like Anglo-Saxon fucking slang and stuff? Like, what are you doing, DP? You're silly, Billy. It's ridiculous. That, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, grandfather. That's a grandfather who, while being called out for being racist, is going, bruh. These are not serious individuals. They're not. They're just not. They're not serious individuals. Thank you so much again, Crow, with the gifted membership. Thank you. It really does mean a lot. It's really appreciated. I really do you know what? Actually, do you know what, Crow? Just because you're awesome, I'm going to give you 10 extra points for the scoreboard because I can. Because I can. You're always being awesome, and you're always writing some cool stuff. And I would like to have a conversation with you at some point about a potential Clacton Spear thing. I really would like to revisit that. I think that would be a really good idea for something. We'll work something out. Anyways, back to this dribble. It's about to get a lot less polite, should we say?
Well, you're the sort of guy that would call based and bougie a negro, like the guy.
Yeah, do you know what? I even forgot about that. And there you go. There was the slur. He's like, you're the type of person who would say this word, and then not only is he wrong, and I wouldn't say slurs like that, but like he literally just said the slur on someone else's panel without even stopping for a breath, without thinking twice, without questioning it. And he's using the fact that he is saying a slur as that, well, you would say this word. No, I wouldn't, Paul. And you shouldn't either on someone else's channel. This is it. Oh my God. So, like, if you don't know, historically, it was used as, it was supposed to be like, it was like in very racist times. You got to remember where the Overton window was in terms of acceptability for, you know, we're talking like slavery and things like that. But it was sort of considered like a neutral descriptor for people then, which obviously it isn't neutral. Never has been, really, when you think about it. And it's closely associated to eras of segregation, of discrimination, racism. It is properly, it's regarded as a slur, one of the big slurs, you know what I mean? You can't just do this. You can't do that. It's like, you're the type of person, and then picked a random black individual who I don't know and I've never had a chat with, and then says like, you would call this person a slur, and then says the slur. I'm like, no, what a weird, what a warped thing to do. This, as you can tell, this conversation is about to go a lot more ski with. But don't worry, we're right near the end.
The black guy did at fucking
whoa,
London with stand up to racism. That's what you'd do. That's what you'd do. You're that sort of lefty. Yeah.
Do you know what this is kind of like? And like you sort of see it in movies and in like school locker rooms and things like that. You know, where you get that bully that's like not too sure about his own sexuality, and so he's like trying to bully the other people. He's like, haha, let's go and bully who I think is gay because everyone's gay but me. I'm not gay. Haha. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's literally like, he is the thing that he's saying. Like, it's projection, sheer projection.
Guy that would call based and bougie a negro, like the black guy did at fucking London with stand up to racism. That's what you'd do. That's what you'd do. You're that sort of lefty. Yeah. So you lefties going about racism. You don't even like the Jews either. Barry's anti-Semitic.
You're right. That the only thing that he has said that is true this whole time was throwing Scott Chesterman under the anti-Semitic bus. Yes, he is anti-Semitic. He's openly anti-Semitic. But what's your point? You're saying, well, Bear's, you know, my mate's anti-Semitic. What about it? What about it? Also, as well, that was the person whose Discord that we were looking at before that was the subject of the Byline Times investigation. That's who Bear is. Bear Britton ordered, Scott Chesterman.
Hey, you getting twisted.
Okay, no racial talk. No racial talk on the channel, man. That's enough.
I won't name this person, but they are a legend. Yeah, at least, you know, because like it's not even their panel, but like everyone else was just like, whoa, where the fuck is this going? And at this point, everybody, especially the one that was on camera and things, people are becoming visibly uncomfortable. Yeah, but the problem is though, this is the thing. They make these wild, ludicrous claims, and
they're not wild, ludicrous. I used to be far left like you when I was younger. When I was 8.
You were never far left. You don't know what it means. Are you talking about like name it? Name the ideology. Name a single far left ideology that isn't socialism or communism. I swear to God, if you say those two, just name. Let's have a look, because I'm pretty sure as well, right? Let's have a look at what makes something far left, because as far as I'm aware, like it can also be like characterized as just like, there you go, characterized the fundamental rejection of capitalism, free markets, and the mainstream and often mainstream representative democracy and things like that. There are so many examples of what far left is. Like, is he saying that at some point in his time that he was when he was a young lad that he was a Marxist, into Marxist Leninism? Is he saying that he was an anarchist? Perhaps he was a communist. Like, what does he mean when he's like, I was far left too, you know? He doesn't know what they mean. Like, he's literally just... like, if you... never mind. Moving on. We know he doesn't know. That's the point.
18, 19, 20. No, I know what they think about certain people.
What does far left? This is the thing now. You say, oh, I used to be this, I used to be that. And then when I say to you, what does that word mean? You just move on. You don't know what they mean, Paul. You're thick as fucking pig shit.
Thick as fucking pigs.
What does grifting mean, Paul?
Go on, go make a channel then and copy me, but do the left version of it. Yeah. And then go and show me I'm wrong.
Now prove.
Because why do more people?
Paul, I don't. There is no left wing, far right vlogging. Like, there is left wing vlogging. You know, I'm not a vlogger. I don't go. I'm a streamer. I do. You know, I do streaming. I don't talk too much about left wing ideas, which is something that I've. Someone said something which I do appreciate actually, which is I'm talking more about far right ideas and debunking that narrative rather than actually talking about left wing ideas and ideologies and things like that. And to be honest with you, that's exactly where this channel is going to be going. We've had this plan for a little while, and in and around the sort of 30th, that's when Burke 2.0 kicks in. A couple of Burks 2.0, and we're going to change the way we do things a little bit. Well, I say a little bit, quite a lot, and yeah, we're going to start looking more at the good side of the selection of political ideas rather than the damaging fucking exclusionary versions of them, which I do a lot. I probably talk more about far right ideas than I do about left wing ones, because I'm constantly having to fight and put the narrative out and stuff, and so there's a balance to be had there.
People agree with me than you.
You know what the definitions of these words are. It's not that more people agree with you than anything. You've managed to get yourself into the far right grifting lane. It's a really good grift, Paul. It's great. Good for you. That's fantastic. That doesn't mean that you're right, that you're not harmful for society, that you're not racist. It's not fantastic. It isn't. I didn't mean it like that. I was trying to be a bit sarcastic and be like, good for you, bro. You know what I mean? Like, yes, you do horrible things for money. Wicked. We love it. You invade hotels, people's space, privacy. You violate their security. You record people's children outside of schools. You get kicked out of shops for recording in the kids' underwear section. Like, do you remember when that happened? When he was like, and he thought he'd turn it into an audit and be like, this security guard keeps following me because I'm, with all my cameras and chest things and all this stuff, I'm in the kids' underwear section as a grown man by himself without a kid around. Like, I'm so sorry. I need to clear my throat. I'm very coffee wet. Fantastic. That doesn't mean that you're right, that you're not harmful for society, that you're not racist.
Everybody that watches us just all exactly be wrong because Lewis says so.
Sorry, I've got to... Did I say that or did I... But yeah, also as well, the way he brags about his income and things on YouTube and across other platforms and stuff. But again, I mean, literally anybody can do this. It doesn't take a special person to, you're not like talent or anything like that. There is already a pre-made audience that know what orders are about. There was the people that shaped it, created it, and then it became the far right thing. And now they know what that is. Like, you know what I mean? There's a whole audience that as soon as they see the name audits, they go, oh, brilliant. I'm going to get my racist content here. I'll click onto that. You've got a whole pre-made audience that's ready there waiting for you. And they can be quite a lucrative thing, mostly hyper online, the donating and everything else that comes, not just to DP specifically, but across the board, it is quite a lucrative market, which is why so many people take advantage of those in that cohort. But did I say you're a racist?
You are.
See, this is straw manning. You're inventing points I didn't make to argue against things because you can't argue what I'm actually saying.
You can call me racist all you like. I don't really care. Magic words won't work with me, buddy. I don't care.
You know why you don't care? You're like, I can't be racist because I don't know what that means. Oh.
I don't give a fuck. You use the word gammon. We know gammon's a racist term. We know what they mean. All the blacks on TikTok use it, calling us gammons, and it's clearly...
All of the blacks on TikTok. He's now arguing this age-old argument of is gammon a racial slur? No, it isn't. It isn't. And I will explain why in a second. I think I might do in this debate, so I might let Debate Lewis talk about debate. It's not debate. And yeah. Oh, God.
Clearly in a racist term. If I called them something like a food group, the same as they're calling me chocolate, you'd call me racist. So don't play your hypocrisy with me because it won't work.
What? Okay, so you're now saying things that I haven't
You'll
said,
all sit there saying gammons, yeah? Right, my point is, you all sitting on about racism, but you throw the word like gammon around. We know what you're doing. You're just getting away with it. Hold on, let me finish.
This white British male is now trying to imply that myself, another white British male, is being racist to white British males. You can't fucking make it up. Stop
when I'm over on,
we're from the same place. We're on the same island. What are you doing?
The
I'm not going to let
platform,
you finish.
when
Stop
ethnics
talking
are
for a
using the word
second, you
gammon, if
take
I
a
called them a
breath, you
food group back
fucking
like
idiot.
chocolate, I'd get called racist. Can you see hypocrisy? So don't use your magic words with me; they won't work.
All right then. Magic words, magic. Then Paul, you like your AI? Why don't you? While we're all listening, ask your AI: is gammon racist? Just ask it. Bit of a pause there, wasn't there? Don't get me wrong, I paused as well, but just ask it.
Well, it's not going to say that in a minute, isn't it? Because it's all, mate. We know what you.
It's not going to say that it's racist, Paul. Why is that? Because it isn't. Like, and I go on to ask him as well, you know, why aren't me and my dad? I thought I'll make this point now because I don't actually get to finish answering it properly. But like, why isn't me and my dad, for example, why aren't we called gammon? Because we're white British. Like, does anybody in the chat have an idea? I'm sure you know, because everybody knows the etymology is this weird, because we go round in circles all the time. DP's had this explained to him by multiple people on many occasions in various different ways. He knows that it isn't racist, but he can't help himself. It's like his go-to thing, like, right? So gammon, I think it was popularized by Will Self. He was like a journalist and a satirist. He does satire. I don't know if that's a real word, but it was popularized then. It refers to like the color that your face gets when you get engaged in a really fierce debate that you're passionate about, with all your feelings involved and with no facts. It was to describe like the pro-Brexit people that were outside screaming until they were red in the face. It's not racist. It's a political mind state, right? So my dad isn't a gammon because he's not far right. And thus far, you then realize that, oh, this isn't a term that applies to, like, it's not an ethnic slur against white people. It's a political slam. And it's prejudicial, surely. Like, yeah, you know, I'm not going to argue with that. Yeah, sure. It's, you know, it could be akin to a sort of slur, I guess you could say. It's an attack. It's not a nice word, I suppose. However, it's not a racist slur because it's not about race. And it's used most commonly by the people in these lands, who are, it's like a British thing, isn't it? And yes, we are of all sorts of different shapes, sizes, colours, ethnicities, backgrounds, all that stuff. That's what makes us beautiful about it. But we are a majority white country, and he's trying to imply that, like, we've created a slur against ourselves. Oh, sorry, that other people have come in and created this slur against. It's not. It isn't. You're just making shit up, and you know that's not true.
What you mean?
Because it isn't.
You're singling out a group of
because
people because of the colour of their skin.
Paul?
That's what you're doing. Gammon. Well, why is it gammon? Pink.
The colour of your skin, bro. Being red in the face is not an ethnicity. Like, being so angry that your blood vessels rise to the surface and, like, you go all red and pinky, you know, like gammon. That's not. Being flushed is not a protected characteristic. You dickhead.
Pink, like white skin. Oh, but it's not racist. It's not singling people out because of it. Oh, it's exactly the same construct as racism that you construe is what you're using with gammon. But because it's a modern, brand new term, it's fine.
Right, this is why you don't know anything, because you won't listen. If you think gammon is racist, then okay, then if it applies to all white people indiscriminately, then why isn't my dad defined as a gammon? Why aren't I defined as a gammon? Because it only applies to a certain political group, doesn't it? It's not based in exclusively ethnicity. It's about people that
even John only wanted to do 20 minutes with this Moss side. Did you see the John interview? John come on Bears and did.
I'm really sorry about the ableist slur. These are not my words, or they don't represent anything that the channel stands for. I'm just showing the debate that I had with what I'm calling Britain's most racist auditor. And I'll back that up as well at the end. But for now, we'll just get through the debate.
Did way long with us. He was way more comfortable and had more fun around us than even this mong. Even John probably don't like this.
Fun. He was calling you a crackhead.
So
is that your measure of fun?
Like, why do you think that bothers me? I don't care. I've got a mirror. I told John this before.
That isn't what I asked,
posted
is
the
it?
clips of him calling me cracky. You do realise
this is a thing as well. So I did an interview with an anti-racist campaigner, activist who goes by the name of John. He is the target of a lot of these auditors. We ended up having a chat about his experience with the auditors live on stream. It was a fantastic stream. It was a good interview, and we got to learn a lot more about John and stuff, and it was cool. He then went on to Scott Chesterman's panel where he had BBA, Bear Britain audits, and DP audits. Paul Dunbar, who you're hearing talking now. He's doing this thing where he's like, I don't know, maybe trying to isolate or something. I'm not too sure. I'm trying to break down what this is. It's not like a logical fallacy. It's a lie and it's an invention. He's trying to pretend that he's actually quite good personal friends with this person and he didn't want to spend time with you. Maybe it's trying to demonize me a little, not demonize, but like knock off my credibility, I suppose. I don't know.
The only reason people know these things, or what John said, is because I posted it, bruh.
Bruh. Did it again. It's so cute. Bruh. That's a granddad, ladies and gentlemen. That's a grown-ass, far-right, racist individual who has taken phrases that originated not here. And he doesn't understand that even the language that he speaks is as a direct result of the thing that he's standing against. Everything that he's wearing, using, the technology that he's doing it with, the language in which he's speaking, the homes in which that were built, by people, everything was done as a collaborative effort from humans from across the world. We owe everything to ourselves, each other. And that doesn't take any credit away from us or anyone. You know what I mean? It's something that we build, all of us up with. We built Britain, and the collective we, the world built Britain. The world shaped Britain, and the world is Britain just as much as Britain is the world. We are all the same species and stuff. This guy is he exists exclusively because he's using an American platform, right, on a device that was probably made in another country to make points about why, diversity and stuff, and why it's all right, and to say bruh and stuff like that. And ultimately, he's racist as anything. It makes no sense. I've never understood the racist perspective, because they think that they're losing something by having people of different cultures in and around them, but they only can say that from a position that they were pushed up to, the standard of living, everything, because of the very thing that they say is bad for us. He's only privileged enough to be able to say that on platforms, things, because of collaborations, because of multiculturalism, because people come here and make things better. We all do. And yes, of course there are people that come here that don't make things better, and just like our people that actively work towards making things harder, there's a whole recourse for that, and we should all be coming together to just make the country a better place. What made Britain great was fuck's sake, Britain great was diversity. Back to this.
And then you sit there thinking, we called you crackhead. You think it's funny in that? No, I don't care.
No, I didn't. I'm just saying that he's not your friend. We had loads of fun. We had a great time. I'm just pointing out that your framing is wrong and that you're lying. Calling me a crackhead and everything. It's no, mate.
He was on the panel and then actually, because that's funny.
Yeah,
because the first time I seen John after that, do you know what he did? Hold on. He walked straight up to me and shook my hand straight away. So yeah, we have that banter like that, but unlike you,
he thinks it's banter. I almost feel sorry for him. I think he thinks he's friends with John. And someone should tell John that DB thinks he's friends with him, because I really don't think he is. He's yeah, it's just banter, innit? You know what I mean? No, he shook your hand because he was trying to squash a very active, very toxic environment and be able to attend these protests without the likes of you accusing him of being a sexual offender. They got someone whose name was who was similar first and last name, and then same first last name, different middle name, different ages, from a different area. But because the names were the same, they tried to paint out that John was actually a predator who had been arrested and charged for quite serious sexual offences. That's what he was doing when he was shaking your hand. He was squashing the beef. He went and had it out with you, called you all these names, and was like, right, let's leave it there. He's not your friend. What are you on about?
Most people are not crybaby little bitches. They can handle a little bit of banter between themselves. whether we're love, hate or not. But we ain't all crybabies like you, Lewis.
You just sat there for 5 minutes moaning about how Gammon's a racist slur, you fucking idiot, without a single sniff of irony. You can see I'm getting a bit more frustrated here, aren't you, as I'm talking on that. I think I may mention, I may say some other stupid things that I do regret, but the reason the reason I'm saying that there, let me just go back just so I can show it properly, because he's, what did he call me, a crybaby? And he's just spent this whole time being like, Gammon's a racist slur. Everyone's attacking me. You're in some sort of conspiracy where you're sending byline reporters to Discords that I'm in. You know, like Searchlight and Hope Not Hate are all conspiring against me. They're all trying to make it look like I'm the bad guy because I'm so self-centered and important. But everyone else is the narcissist, though. Thank you for that diagnosis, Dr. DP. Everyone else is the crybaby. It's moaning about how Gammon's a racist slur, you fucking idiot, without a single sniff of irony.
I think it's offensive, yeah. I think it's when it's used by the reference over on fucking TikTok all the time towards anyone who's white who doesn't agree with them. I think there's a racist connotation behind it. Yeah, I do think there is. Yeah, I think there's a racist connotation behind it.
Why isn't my dad? I started saying older white man. Why isn't he considered Gammon?
I don't care. Don't. You're just doing the leftist trying to excuse. I'm telling you how I and a lot of people on our side feel you're using that.
What he's accusing me of doing there is what I like to call a Jedi mind trick, right? I'm doing things like asking questions, and then when he doesn't answer them, I just ask them again. He's like, whoa, you're trying to trick me with your leftist fucking Jedi mind tricks, like reading and trying to learn things. How dare you? Oh, my God. Bearing in mind, he's saying Gammon is offensive. On the same stream, not 5 minutes ago, he was saying literal slurs for black people. But Gammon's offensive.
Be derogatory. You're using it to be derogatory to a set group of people that all happen to be white and patriots. They're white working class people and Gammon, isn't it? Derogatory.
This is the white working class. Working class. You thought it was a... See, now you're trying to reframe it again, and all you can do is talk over me and try and be louder because you're as thick as an elephant's foreskin, man. I swear to good... Yeah, I warned you, I said it, and I do regret it. There's no justifying it, no excuses. I shouldn't have said that. I'm very worked up, and I said some things, and I regret them. I shouldn't have said that. I'm better than that. I am. Or at least I'm trying to be. I'm a human, and I'm hoping that, you know, I can sort of, like, cut that stuff out of my lexicon, because, like, you know, it can be a little bit difficult to keep that sort of stuff in. Where I'm from and everything else, you know, it's just you know what I mean? Sometimes you match energy like that, and like it isn't conducive to a decent environment whereby you can talk to people and get onto a level or anything. It's a shame. Right, here we go. And yeah, like you know, typical of people on this side of the aisle, it seems, people, you know, like these sort of vloggers, right-wing vloggers and things like that, is just refusing to answer the questions. And it's got to the point now where I've asked him so many times, he's got, I don't care, because he can't answer it, because the answer would mean, you know, it would conflict with what he said, meaning that what he's saying isn't right, and he can't have that. So just move on. Because you're as thick as an elephant's foreskin, man. I swear to goodness. Like, just to clarify, Brian, answer this question. Why isn't my dad considered a guy? If it's racist, why isn't he?
No.
Nah, your dad's considered a cook.
And then straight to, yeah. Where's your dad, DP? I shouldn't know. I assume he's not on
Where's my dad? My dad's a piece of shit. I don't like him.
I'm matching energy, and I was relying on the fact that, you know, that radicalized individuals tend not to have, like, solid father figures in their life and stuff. And so, yeah. I don't know where this stuff comes from either, do it about saying, like, you know, that I don't know where I come out with this horrible crap sometimes, and I'm actually I feel a bit exposed and a bit embarrassed about it, which I should do. I guess that's on me. You know what I mean? In a room with reasonable people in the chat and stuff, it's an awful thing to say. It really is, and I shouldn't say it. I just, like I say, I grew up matching energy like that, and I just shouldn't. I really shouldn't do it. And this thing about his dad, what I'm doing is I intentionally was trying to be a knob there, because it was going on, you know, stuff about, like, you know, about your dad's a this instead.
So I did a your dad back, and I shouldn't have done that. And I was relying on the statistics because statistically speaking, people that are radicalized don't have that solid father figure in their life like that. And so, you know, I use that to my advantage in order for me to make, you know, to make a personal dig back. And for that, I will say that I do apologize for that. You didn't deserve that, Paul. I mean, well, maybe not deserve. I won't throw it out there, but I shouldn't have done that to you. I really shouldn't have. You know, no matter what you were saying to me, and no matter who you are, I think, you know, we can all learn a lesson there. We shouldn't be doing that. It's because when you go back and you review it later to a bunch of reasonable people, then you look like an idiot and you feel silly. So yeah, lesson learned.
Get me fucked off.
I thought not. That explains a lot.
Why did your dad make you sleep at the bottom of a garden in a tent? Why did your dad make you sleep at the bottom of a garden in a tent?
He didn't. He wasn't even waiting for the answer. He just went on repeat. Quit hitting yourself. Quit hitting yourself. Do you know what I mean? And also, this is where it comes to the personal side of this really personal traumatic thing, which I'm gonna let play through because for obvious reasons. Like I don't want to keep having to go into it, but like it didn't happen like that. We both lived a really beautiful off-grid life. We were recording a television show that was, you know, for the BBC, the third season of you know, it was a whole thing, and we had a great time. Sometimes, you know, like it's about perspective, isn't it? You know, like for us, like for me, like I live in the caravan now and stuff, and I'm doing, you know, like the off-grid life this way, and you know, it's a choice. Absolutely, I could choose to engage with the system and go through that way, but I like to be off-grid. It's a cheaper, easier way of living that brings me much more satisfaction. And there's quite a lot of people who also look at this sort of lifestyle and enjoy that. It's about perspective and things. But this idea that someone died in a tent at the bottom of a garden is ridiculous, and the framing of that is deeply offensive, and not just to myself, but Jasmine has like a lot of like, you know, followers and things, people that really connected with her show on for lots of reasons. Also as well, like she has family and friends that, you know what I mean, like that might feel partial to tune into something that I'm doing or whatever, and then they have to hear this shit, and like it's absolutely fucking abhorrent that somebody would do that, but that's just who they are. So now we've gone from any sort of like, you know, reasonable things. The people on the panel are really getting fucking awkward and like they don't like it, and you can tell, and it gets dark. We'll see how it goes here.
He didn't.
But
that isn't true. That isn't
right.
how
At
this point, I should
have control, right? Because you're a control freak. Yeah, that makes sense.
Also, as well, like it wasn't even like it wasn't like the property that I happened to be on in my fucking 16-foot round bell tent that had a double bed, running water, electric Wi-Fi, and heating with an electric blanket on a memory foam mattress. We were doing just fine. It was a choice. And the property that we were staying on temporarily while I was in hospital wasn't even my dad's. So this thing where he's trying to connect my dad into this, into that, and like none of it makes any sense. It's all bullshit. It's all sheer bullshit. It's just nastiness. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the character that's outside filming kids at schools. Like there's so many red flags here. This is the problem with auditing. Like these people that purport to be like we are the defenders of your children and women. It's not only grossly sexist and based in like, you know, lots of other, we'll go into that another time, but like it's also like a really good way for some people to project, to give themselves an alibi to be outside, you know, filming schools and things, and you know, to be at these events and stuff, and to make people not look at them in that light. It's also quite convenient for those people too.
Yeah,
now what you're doing is you're talking about my deceased fiance, but the reality is, and this is a really important.
Yeah, I'm being a cunt, yeah, because you're a cunt.
You're the person who sent rape threats and that was in the paper. You're the weirdo hanging around outside schools taking footage of children.
You're
the weirdo.
The full video's on the channel, guys. You can see the whole video. He's lying.
The full video of what? Of what? Well, you know that part of the video where you're outside of the school recording children to make
I walked from Cobb's Town up to Hillfields to show people Hillfields where I used to live in my vlog. Is that all right? At the top.
No, it's not okay. It's a fucking violation to parents everywhere. You don't send your kids to school expecting to see a racist outside recording them because they're black and posting them on the internet to thousands of strangers in full view of the school with their uniform on and everything. Again, because they're black. To strangers on the internet. It's just disgusting. It's absolutely terrible. Also, I can see that you're excited, vlogging journalist. If you want to engage with anything that's actually being said on panel, you might find yourself having a bit more of a smoother time in chat. Seems there's a bit of abrasive back and forth that seems to be stemming from you. I reckon just react to what's going on the stream. That might help.
In the flats.
No, it's not. No, it's not. You're the freak that sends rape threats and watches porn in Discords with other men.
And go,
See, I shouldn't. See, this is where I shouldn't have been doing this. This is bad, Lewis. This is me saying like freak. That's not in my lexicon. That's not a word that I have in my library of, in my head. That's not something that I articulate on a regular basis. And, after mentioning my fiance and things and all the build, we all saw the build up and that. I'm not, I'm certainly not trying to justify it at all, but just giving you the idea of where my headspace was at there. Oh, it's terrible. Absolutely terrible. But, matching energies. Everyone's like, "Oh, match the energy. Don't do it. Be better." Threats and watches porn in Discords with other men.
And go,
should we read?
On the way past, go, "Oh, look, there's no white kids. There's all the white kids. The demographic change is going to be massive in the next 10 years in this city. There's going to be no white people around."
But you don't think you're racist, though, right? You don't think this guy's actually saying that there's going to be no white people around? None. There's going to be no guys. We're going to be gone. That's it. We're gone. We're going to disappear. One day we'll wake up and then we'll all be a different ethnicity. Jigs up, guys. What are you guys hoping for in the one day waking up to be replaced? What are you hoping to be replaced with in your genetic lottery? Do we get a choice with what we replace? Like, is it a thing or is it like predetermined? Obviously, I'm chatting shit because this guy's not a serious person, and his points are completely invalid and wrong. Think you're racist, trying to take image. You're literally recording.
What? So saying that we're being replaced in my own city. If you think me, you're not being replaced. Observing that there is demographic replacement of my city is racist, then call me racist. Fine.
There is not demographic replacement. You're just stupid.
Yeah,
you
but we are,
racist
Jay.
And you're dumb.
We are, Jay. You're in denial. 2001, 91.7% white British. 2011, we were down to 84.4%. 2021 consensus down to 74. I think it was 4 or 7.7, right? And that was before the Boris wave. We've had a huge injection of immigration since then. So on the 2031 consensus, they probably won't even release it because everyone will probably kick off because it'll probably be about 65, if not less.
Now, this is the only opportunity that I've had to actually fact check him, like, with numbers and things and that, right? Because everything else has been like all gish galloping and that, but I got locked in for this one. You won't be surprised to learn that everything he just said, all of the numbers he just gave, what a lie.
And everyone's going to be fuming. But just deny the consensus facts here, Jay.
Okay,
shall we? So then you're telling me there's not...
You're lying. You're a liar. You're lying. You're lying. No, Paul, you're lying. White people make up approximately 83.1% of the total population of the United Kingdom.
No, they do not.
Yes, they do. In fact, I may have even got that number wrong, having done some other research. I've looked at it, and it says that I'm slightly out, and it's slightly higher than that. But I'm not going to do the music thing now, because what happened is, I will tell you how this ends, right? There was nothing to... The music gets turned up higher, because the panel host had finally had enough of us, like, our conversation taking over that whole thing. Because, like I said, that panel wasn't anything even to do with politics. It was a medical weed fucking channel. And I know some of the people on there. It was my first time on that particular panel, that particular channel itself. I jumped on there and said hello to some of my friends that I know. And, I know the people that run it. And I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going, guys? I was bored. That was what I was doing. But obviously DP had been in the chat. And so then DP had followed me up onto the panel. And then it descended into that. But yeah, something tells me I'm not going to get that interview. I wonder if I can goad him into it and say something that he would say, like, "Oh, you're not brave enough" or something. I don't know, but I definitely want it. See, here's a really good one. If you think that DP is the most racist auditor, then I'm tapped. Well, correct me then. Who do you think is the most racist auditor? Luke N3S. What's your opinion there? But there you go. That's it. That's it. The music gets turned up, and then the music gets so loud that you can't hear us, and then it gets swapped for more aggressive, more drowning out music, and then Paul leaves. Or I left, one of us. But yeah, that's it. That's the debate. That's the whole thing, if you can call it that, I guess. And that's my thoughts on it. What are your guys' thoughts in the chat? Was there any moments that you that you could think of that were particularly memorable? Like the fact that we've been flabbergating everything. Guys, we've been fabricating, we've been flabbergating. But I'll tell you what we haven't been doing. I have not been fabricating anything. And I've been using reliable, credible sources of information, such as newspapers, anti-fascist watchdogs, and all that other stuff. But oh, you're saying plenty, but give us one. Who do you think is more racist? Here's why I think that, and I will make my argument for why I think that he is the most racist auditor in Britain at the moment, because nobody is saying the quiet parts out loud like DP. Personally, I think they're all, it exists on a spectrum, of course, but I think they're all just as racist as each other, you know, when it comes to it. But the reason why DP stands out, in my opinion, is his affiliation with out and out actual Nazis and stuff. Like when he does his auditing and he does his work, he's not just doing it alone. He does it quite frequently with a collaborator called Ryan Ferguson. Ryan Ferguson is a known neo-Nazi who admits to being a neo-Nazi. He's the same guy who flew over to fucking Germany, got conned in some way by some journalist, and ended up speaking to what he thought was Hitler's secret son on the phone so he could go to the Hitler's grave. He thought he was in discourse with an actual Hitler. Like, he's Nazi, and he's proud Nazi. He calls himself National Socialist. We've been through it. We've shown it all already. And him and DP, because they're, you know, because their politics and everything else aligns so much, and their content aligns so much, and it's the same thing. They go out together. It's just DP doesn't say that he is. He just says Ryan is. That, you know what I mean? They don't say the quiet parts out loud. Oh, not always. DP certainly says a lot of them. But when he talks about the great replacement theories and things, this man is literally, this auditor, unlike other auditors, I've never seen another auditor go to a school to film children, to post them online while they're in their safe space, and then say, like, there's not enough white people here, basically, because he was talking about, like, great replacement stuff, and he was using children to make racist points. I haven't seen any other auditor doing that yet. Unless I'm wrong. Sorry, I dropped my lighter there. If I could. But yeah, no, I haven't seen any other auditor doing that. That's why I would go for that. And Ryan isn't an auditor, he's an auditor leech. He's like an auditor orbiter. He's DP's friend. Like, Ryan is Paul's friend. They hang around with it. In fact, he's said many times, he's my friend. So the guy hangs around with Nazis, right? That's literally, yeah, you traitors, you're absolutely right. Nazis are traitors, dude. Do you know what? You've been making some banging points, mate, honestly. I really do appreciate it. You alerted us to the fact that obviously it is a spectrum, and not all the racism belongs to DP. Most of the other auditors are quite racist too. I appreciate that. And yes, Nazis are traitors. Yeah, no, really, really appreciate your contribution there, buddy. Yeah, so look, it is what it is. That was my debate with Britain's most racist auditor. Thank you all for tuning in, and join me again, not tomorrow, but the day after, because we're going to try and hit every other day. And yeah, we're going to be making some changes to this place. It's going to be looking different as well. I'm trying a whole new platform. We're going to shake up the Discord and stuff as well. Yeah, we're gonna do a whole thing. We're gonna have a couple of Burks 2.0. And if you bear with me, I'll get a link. In fact, you know what? I'm not going to do it on this particular stream. But for those of you that are already in there, get yourselves in the Discord. And if you were dying to get in the Discord this time and you couldn't because I didn't drop the link, then jump over to the next stream and I'll probably drop it out then. Love and peas. Many, many, many peas.